Good day, good afternoon, good evening everyone, this is Viper of Viperland, and I am back here with 428 Shibuya Scramble. We are going to pick up where we left off with Tama. Also, hello, we've got Ramen, Sasafune, and Bertie in chat. How are you all doing tonight? Alright, so I accidentally picked up the burning hammer, instead of picking up the definitely not Tamagotchis that they were supposed to pick up with the recycling truck. And we've been tasked with going after them because that's the only way we can get paid. We can either go together after the truck, or we can split up and go after the truck. Also, thank you so much for the host, Birdie. Welcome to Viperland and the chat. How you doing tonight? Hopefully pretty well. What do you guys say in chat? Go together, split up. Also, I can unplug my controller real quick. I'll post a picture of this to Discord, but my USB cable got fricked last night, and now it's held together with tape. It really got borked. I was literally just playing in the middle of the night, you know, as I do. I was playing some Yakuza, getting some money, and my PS4 goes, "You have too many USB devices connected." I'm like, "No, what?" And I look down at my hands, and the USB cable has just shattered. It's the only way of putting it. It shattered, but it taped back together somehow. Oh, dang it! I didn't actually read that. My bad. Also, hey Potions, how's it going tonight? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Actually, I'm going to quickly post it to the Discord so you guys can see what I'm describing. I don't know why I didn't post it at the time. I think it was just late and I was like, I'll do this later. But yeah, I've never seen a USB cable do this to me. It's in the image board. At a certain boss I got it. I saw that Grim liked that on Twitter, yeah. Let's go together. Oh, dang it, I didn't mean to hit that. Let's go together. And so Cheery and I headed out in search of the truck. Yeah, it straight exploded. Probably. This one seems to be working with tape, but I never actually made it that far in my playthrough. Like, I'm aware of that boss, but I've never actually made it there myself. I always end up stopping before that. As we make our way down Center Guy, peering in all directions, I accidentally bump right into a man who's out with his daughter. Then you were not peering in all directions. Oh, hey! I know that man. And that daughter. Oh, pardon me. I hop back to my feet and go to bow to the man in apology. Ow! He bows at the same time, and we manage to bonk our heads together. Yeah, it's horrible suicide, Dad. What fell? Maybe I did. Did you fight them before that, then? Maybe I did. I need to replay that game. I feel like every time I start it up, I get about halfway through, and it gets really challenging, and I end that playthrough, and I just never go back to it. Like, sorry. Also, hello, Sir Jude. Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Wrestler Gorilla? Yes, that I did. So, do you fight them? Maybe I just don't remember them. That's weird. They're super memorable, but I don't remember fighting them. Okay, then I did make it past that then. As her dad drops to his knees, clutching his head, the girl begins to wander off. That's not good. Hana, wait! The man lurches to his feet and rushes after the girl. Fairly hard to pay attention. I hope I don't miss too much. No worries. These all get archived. These I'm putting on YouTube just for the sheer insanity of it all. So, like, if you're not feeling it tonight, totally, it'll still be up there. Also, I hope you're doing okay. But, like, rest up if you need it. She seems like an odd kid, only 10 or so, but strangely cold and distant for her age, as if her father was just going to let her discover his suicide corpse. As we make our way back down the road, Cheery's eyes light upon a cafe. Today's just been a I can't wake up day. Yeah, I get days like that too. I know the feeling. Anytime I get one of those days and I try to caffeine through it, it don't work. It's just like, nah, nap time. Or just, you know, just a sluggish day is more likely. Man, I am super hungry. Why is it? Oh, I thought that was a question mark. She mutters. Not now. We have to find that truck. Yeah, I know. Yeah, don't forget, we haven't eaten jack all. I stride purposefully along, and though Cheery flashes the eatery a long, lingering look, she falls in a step behind me. Oh, hell yeah, very nice. Excuse me. 2 runs of Darkhold, got 4 levels. Damn, that's not bad at all. Cheery and I wander around town for another 10 minutes or so. Hey look, Starbucks coffee. We don't see any sign of the truck though. Ah, I sigh. It really is good and gone, huh? I turned to look back at Cheery. What Cheery? Huh? Wait, what? Cheery's gone. She must have slipped away from me at some point. Oh yeah, no. Well, to be fair, you can do it in New York City too. Like, for sure. I just assume they're heading towards Times Square to make a buck. Like, you can absolutely do that. Take a quick look around, but there's no sign of her. I mean, it would have to be a recognizable character for me to be like, yeah, they're gonna just go try and, like, get pictures, sell pictures at Times Square, but... When did she split off? She was just there 2 or 3 minutes ago. G-Shock shock-resistant watch. It's 12:35. The sales demo starts in 25 minutes. What do I do? I don't have time to go looking for Cheery. Guess I'll have to keep searching for the truck by myself then. But I have no clues to go on, so I don't know how I'm ever going to find it. Ugh. What should I do? Who knows? Oh, we gotta come back from somebody else. Okay. I have no idea who. I feel like the keep out ones are kinda... There doesn't seem to be too much rhyme or reason to them. Let's see where we were. I don't remember where everyone else was in terms of, like, who hit their keep out and who didn't. Tama hit keep out. Osawa we can keep going with. Oh, we hit... Because Tama was the only one we started the 12 o'clock block with, that's why. So we can go to whoever we want next. That's what it was. Everybody got to the checkpoint, and then we only did Tama. Back to Aki? I'd support that. He's pretty awesome. And I don't think we need the straight into the medical drama. We gotta have some lighthearted trash boy first. I mean, yeah, we're running away from an armed gunman, but you know, it's fine. Yep, still running. And then banana. I still think that banana screenshot is the best out of context shot from this game so far. Aki and Hitomi scampered through the back roads along Center Guy, white sneakers and pumps slapping on the pavement. Aki kept his eyes peeled, continually checking ahead and behind as they darted through the gaps between the buildings. Banana Man he was so weird. I wanted to put the picture of him just in the hallway, backlit with the yellow, to my out-of-context shots, but I was like, I had to narrow it down, and I couldn't get rid of Banana, so it had to be that one. Finally, they stepped into a narrow alley. There's no way he'll find us here, he said. No one knows about this place. This spot between two buildings. He took another look around and let out a sigh of relief. I still think the guy's got a way to track them. We'll find out if they find us here, maybe. Seemed they'd managed to shake the gunman for now. Or maybe the gunman's just really lucky. Back when Aki was with SOS, the abbreviation for Studs of Shibuya, the name given to the group by Aki when he founded it. Originally just a bunch of like-minded young people hanging out together. It has since become known as a gang that picks fights around Shibuya. He had come through Center Guy practically every day. The gang had started out as little more than a group of local teens. They didn't do much in particular, just horsing around and killing time. What mattered was that they were having fun. But it wasn't long before it wasn't all fun and games. Aki couldn't help but notice the slobs who were making a mess of Shibuya and dirtying it all up. He wasn't about to let them get away with it. Most frequently, it was folks who tossed cigarette butts out on the street or plastered walls and graffiti. When they didn't respond to his more gentle warnings, he found slightly more forceful ways of getting his point across. My favorite anime. Let's be honest, I'd watch at least a few episodes of it. SOS got a reputation. Street punks started trying to pick fights with its members. Those guys required a bit more force to handle. And when it came to the worst of the lot, the drug dealers, the muggers, the guys who tried to force themselves on women, it was full-on battle, no holds barred. Before long, SOS had established itself as something of a vigilante corps. Soon it became known as one of the biggest gangs in Shibuya. All 3 members. Shibuya is not very large, it's clearly big. Let's idle here for a bit and see what happens, Aki said. The alley where they had hid was like a dimly lit chasm, obscuring them from view. The only problem now was figuring out what to do next. They needed to find that blue van again, which meant figuring out the best way to get back to Danganronpa without the man with the cane catching them once more. Aki? Hitomi whispered. Hmm? Think I can handle myself from here. Don't get me wrong. Not saying there's anything against Hitomi, but she clearly hasn't shown herself to be... I'll phrase it a different way. If I were in her shoes and distressed after being at gunpoint multiple times in a day, watching people get beaten up multiple times in a day, my sister being held for ransom, and multiple people harassing me and taking money from me over the day, I wouldn't be in the mental state where I could handle myself alone at that point. At all. She got to her feet and gave Aki a deep bow. Whoa, Aki held up a hand. We've been over this already. You're not going to be okay. That guy, yeah, also if a guy's after me with a gun. Period. Yeah. Hiding your secret ability, being Wesker. Also, yeah, he can clearly do Kung Fu. You gotta stick with the Kung Fu guy. If you let her go up against that assassin alone, he might as well be the one to pull the trigger himself. Thank you so much for everything you've done for me, Hitomi continued, as if she hadn't heard him. She started to shuffle out of the alleyway. Hey, what did I just say? Really, Aki, I appreciate your concern, but I can't in good conscience put you in danger anymore. But I mean... Aki tried to press the point, but Hitomi cut him off. There's no good reason for you to risk yourself to keep helping me. Her tone was resolute, but Aki was determined to help her anyway. He refused to back down. Yeah, we have to go with A, right? I don't think there's going to be any disagreement on this point, unless we have to come back to this point for something else. It's gotta be A. B is clearly bad end material. It's gotta be A. At some point I'm gonna have to go through this game and collect bad ends because we don't have enough. We need to... Yes, I've seen this one already. I don't think... Oh, they do number them. 1, 3, 4, 8, 7, 6, 5, 11, 13. Like, that's all the bad ends we have! It's stupid! We need more bad ends. But not this time. Still, Aki was determined to help her anyway. He refused to back down. Like, I want to help people who are in trouble. What's so wrong about that? Huh? He locked eyes with Hitomi, willing her to understand. I'm not the most dependable guy. I know that. Really good at playing this game. For now. Give it time. But still, Hitomi dropped her gaze, and Aki trailed off, feeling like an idiot. Oh, it's no use. I am no use. He hung his head with a sigh. Uh-oh. Just then, a bit of light shone into the alleyway from above. Oh crap, we're gonna end up... There's gonna be a cockroach coming after us, isn't there? It looked like someone in the adjacent building's upper floor turned on the lights. Yup, we can go back to Tama. We're going back to Tama, everybody. Oh wait, no, it goes back to here. That's weird. Why would it go back to here? We did this one already. We need one later. But I was right, it was at the right room. I'm gonna see if this plays out any different real quick, but I don't think it will. We passed this bit. So unless there's something different here, I am gonna go back to Aki. I just... I didn't notice the time. Yeah, I think this is the same thing. Why would it let us go back here, though? There was no block here. We did her first. Maybe if I had picked a different decision? It's weird they let us go back here. Huh. Alright. Well, for now, we're gonna go back. It's possible that, like, maybe when we... I don't know. It's gotta be that in a different set of circumstances, it would work out differently. Thankfully, it's quick and easy to go back. And now we know there's a jump point there. If we find a use for it, we know where it is. Almost doing the light? Maybe. Yep, that could be it too. Looks like someone in the adjacent building, the Nokane building. This multi-tenant building has 7 floors, but a decade-old urban legend tells of a mysterious 13th... It has 7. But there's rumor there's a 13th... Like, at least make the rumor like there's a secret basement. There's a secret, like, 6.5 level. Like, 13? Really? A diet aid sales demo is being held on one of the upper floors today. I turn on the lights. The light illuminated Hitomi's face. A cockroach landed on it! Everybody panics! The gunman notices. When Aki saw the look in her eyes, he reconsidered his decision. She was trying her hardest to hide it, but she was clearly terrified. No way was he letting her go back out there alone. Still, if he tried to insist, she would only refuse him again. Hitomi? Humor me for a second here. Tell me, what's the proper way to dispose of a plastic bottle? She stared at him in surprise. Well, first you remove the cap and the wrapper, then you rinse out the inside and crush it. Aki let out the breath he'd been holding. Okay, good. Huh? I don't understand. What's good? You gave me a reason. You gave me my reason why I have to help you out. I super respect people who respect the environment. I'm one of those, whatchamacallits, an environmentalist. Aki pointed at his mean, clean t-shirt. Look at her rolling her eyes, like, Hitomi hesitated. And what was your plan if I'd said the answer was to toss the plastic in with the trash? Well, then I need to stick with you, to help teach you. Clever man. Oh, he's great, don't get me wrong. Like, I gotta love the concept of Tama and the characters she interacts with, but Aki's top tier. I can't dispute that. Environmental awareness begins with good education. So then you were going to tag along with me regardless. Look, I'm just super pumped to learn that you care so much about proper recycling. Aki cracked a huge grin. He looks it. Okay then. Okay? If you're really that sure about it, like she's cracking a grin, I guess I could use your help a little while longer. Hitomi flashed him a little smile. Man, she's so cute, Aki thought. Save her life and get her away from the gunman, then you two can worry about romance. Then something else caught his eye. Huh? What's that there? He's pointing right at me. He knows we're talking about him. Oh no. Looked like something black was stuck. Oh no! Oh no! The cockroach. Aki, what are you staring at? You got something stuck there. What, on my head? Without thinking, Hitomi reached up and plucked it off. It was about 10 centimeters long. Its body, a glistening black, sporting feelers and several pairs of legs. It began to writhe and wriggle between Hitomi's slender fingers. I'd scream. If a cockroach that big was on my head and I picked it up and it started, I'd scream. Gah! Aki yelped. It's a cockroach! He jumped backwards, but Hitomi didn't so much as flinch. Whew, sorry. That gave me a bit of a start, he continued. Guess it must have fallen from one of the windows up there. Still, Hitomi did not move. Hitomi? She didn't appear to hear him. Hello? Hitomi? Ooh. With muffled gurgle, Hitomi passed out on the spot, her body as stiff as a mannequin. That lends credence to my theory that Tama is her sister. Because Tama was specifically like, I learned how to deal with cockroaches because my sister can't handle them whatsoever at all. So, like, that's evidence there. But also, damn it, Tama. What? Hitomi, are you okay? I mean, that would be about the reaction that would happen if somebody's like, you got something in your head. I pick it up and it's just a full crab staring me in the face. I'd probably just pass out. Like, honestly, like, a game theorist Viper. That's why the jump's there. Maybe. But the jumps are usually there to get past the keep outs. But we made it through her story quite a ways further without a keep out, so I'm still confused, but also whatever. I'm only confused by why there's a jump, not anything else so far. But no matter how loudly Aki called her name, Hitomi would not come to. The cockroach, on the other hand, just went, see you guys, woo. Maybe the right answer was to let her go. So she wouldn't be under the window. From that day onward, Aki devoted even more of his time and energy to collecting trash. Did she die? Hello, Mint. Welcome to Viperland of the Jet. Did she die? It became his personal passion to see that his city was a clean one, devoid of cockroaches. Did she die from that? That was the mandate he had been handed. Or, if nothing else, his atonement. No.
He might actually be dead.
Okay. The pan up. I don't know if you remember last time we played, we chased a cockroach out a window. That cockroach landed on her head. She was so scared, she died. This game, man. He told me passed out after cockroach fell on her head. Oh. Still says passed out, but what? Then... Well, not out of nowhere exactly. He told me and Aki were right underneath the Nokane building, where they're selling Burning Hammer. A cat and a cockroach had been fighting it out on one of the upper floors. The cat was victorious, but if it had run away instead, things would have turned out differently down below. Okay, so we're gonna go back to Tama, and not do as good battle. Have to go back and do that? It looks that way, yep. Even though we had successfully done it from Tama's point of view, that only caused problems here. But it seems a simple enough fix. We'll see if it actually is, but... Poor Aki. Well, like, if she only passed out, what happened? I'm at least a little confused. Excuse me, I'm also quite hiccupy. She clearly died. They clearly said passed out, though. I snatch up the cardboard box and make a run for it. I snatch up the cardboard box and make a run for it. I don't think anything will be different, but I'm gonna... No, I'm pretty sure this is where it picked up. Phew, I made it. When I get back to the break room, Mr. Bossman is still clutching Cheery's hands. Yep, that's exactly where we were. Okay. Rewinding, moving timelines. We need to go... Honestly, the jump point might just be as a spot to go back to? No. Yeah. Right? Yeah, I think it's just a spot to return to. Because we don't need to make a choice here. Just then, a bit of light shone into the alleyway from above. Okay, so we should be able to continue to the point where it would have dropped on her head. So he does his spiel with the recycle. It's good. Yep, you got your shirt. It's very, very angrily recyclable. Alright, she cracks a grin too. So we flash him a little smile. Man, she's so cute. Okay, so we got to there, and that's where it split, right? Okay. Sneaking out from the alley, Aki and Hitomi began to make their way along the side streets, back toward Danganronpa. It was a pretty big detour compared to taking the main thoroughfares, but that would be worth it if it meant they avoided the man with the cane and the gun. Aki looked over at Hitomi as she walked alongside him. Her face was solemn. You could feel the intensity of her worry for her sister. Oh, well. Look who's got himself a little cutie. A sudden call startled him. He spun around. Yo, mean clean, over here. Aki spotted a young man up ahead, sneering at him. Troublemakers. At his side were two others. Aki recognized the lot. SOS. Hitomi let out a nervous squeak. Aki? Don't worry about them. He led her onward, attempting to stride right past the trio. Whoa, hey now. Just gonna ignore me? Pretty damn rude, especially coming from somebody who used to be an old buddy. I've been playing too much Yakuza lately to see this going down any other way besides us literally curb stomping them. The three toughs moved to bar Aki's path. Oh, she's hella fine. Extremely attractive. The etymology of hella is somewhat unclear, but its meaning is indisputed. Very, a lot of, totally, and the like. Potential synonyms for hella fine include mighty fine, fine as hell, and bangin'. Nope. Come on, ain't you gonna introduce us? Sorry, man, Aki said. I'm in a bit of a hurry here. He gave them a tepid smile. A big hurry, huh? Where to? Some love hotel in Maruyamacho? Maruyamacho? Too rich, another chimed in. She a screamer, Aki? Aki, Take a stereotypical way to poke fun at a would-be amorous couple. Now take Aki's name. There you go. Thanks, game. They burst out howling like a gang of monkeys. One of them cackled like a grinning idiot. Aki, Aki. Yeah, we get the point. Aki felt his anger boil. Yeah, it's a good thing that was explained. These guys were in sore need of a major ass-kicking, but it was too much at stake. He was just going to have to suck it up and ignore them for the time being. To be fair, for the moment, they're just being obnoxious. If they'll let us kick their ass, I was going to say if they'll let us pass while just being annoying, we can get where we're going without drawing too much attention. But I'm not adverse to A. They are in sore need of a major ass kicking. You're not wrong. Kick some ass. These guys were in sore need of a major ass kicking. Aki stepped up to the ringleader and took him down. He's just the tough drop to the ground with a dull thud. Well, he's dead. Oh, sorry, that was terribly rude of me. Aki kept his tone light and jovial, but he eyed the others like a hawk eyeing its prey. Is it going to be alright? He told me, murmured. Nah, I felt his neck snap when I punched him. She looked at the man Aki had laid out with some concern. He'll be fine. If that's all it took to knock him out, he's got no right to act all badass. I hope we didn't make her afraid of us. Aki, huh? I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Oh no. The actual boss. A taller man with an angry gleam in his eyes had appeared atop the steps nearby. He must have turned up during the commotion. The one punch. He radiated a distinct aura of menace. That's me, Aki replied. And just who are you? For once, it was someone he didn't recognize. The name's Yoji Kiryu. Oh no! He's a Kiryu. We gotta leave. We gotta leave. We gotta leave now. We gotta leave 10 minutes ago. He used to roll with a gang from Ikebukuro until a few months ago, known as the Killer Whale of Bukuro. He answered any and all resistance with his fist. His crazy antics led to him being kicked out of the gang. However, and lately he's been hanging around with Shibuya. We in trouble, yo. I joined up with SOS after you left. Now I'm Susamu's number 2 guy. The newcomer stared at Aki's face, sizing him up. We gonna die. Our legendary founder. I've heard so much about you. The founder. It had been a long time since anyone had called him that. There'd been a bunch of arguing over who would take charge of the new group that was forming to set things straight in Shibuya. At some point, folks had started hailing him as the force behind SOS. But founder? That was just something his buddies called him. He had never paid it much heed. Shibuya was a place for fun, not, hierarchies. At least in Aki's mind, that was how it ought to be. Like how you busted up some mean old drug dealers, rescued your pals from Yakuza, bondage. Here, bondage is used strictly in the sense of captivity. Any other types of Yakuza bondage will not be featured in this game. Sorry if the tip link here got your hopes up. Yeah, when Kiryu starts talking about Yakuza bondage, the mind goes places. Hello, Grim. Welcome to Viperland in the chat. You've joined at a point. A point. You're a real hero. Kiryu's tongue flicked from his mouth like a snake's. Hitomi shuddered. Aki couldn't blame her for being creeped out. But that's all in the past now, isn't it? Kiryu continued. You went modestly on your way. It's up to us now. And we've helped SOS grow by leaps and bounds to help carry on your legacy, no matter who stands in our way. Bard a bit, but honestly I'm starting to lose interest in it. Fair enough. I got the ability to play music. That was as far as I took Bard so far. And it was all in Palace of the Dead, so I don't even really know how to play Bard. That thought didn't sit right with Aki. If aggressive expansion was the name of the gang was losing touch with its roots. It wasn't about keeping Shibuya safe and fun anymore. And clearly it's not. I would have to think so. Like, it would have to be. Even though this was 2008, by then there was still at least... I think there were 2 Yakuza games by then? I don't know my Yakuza timeline well. Oh, 2006. Okay. So it does check out time. Thank you. Was very busy, not fond of it? Fair enough. Make SOS bigger, huh? He said. I'm guessing that was Suzumu's call as well. Kiryu didn't answer his question. His mouth merely twisted into a knowing sneer. In any event, I think these boys here need a little lesson in manners. The guillotine ought to do the trick. A capital punishment device invented in the 18th century France. The condemned is executed by decapitation, by means of a heavy blade that descends from above. Named for physician Joseph Ignaz Guillotine, who advocated its use in the National Assembly. Both King Louis the 16th and Maria Antoinette were executed by guillotine. And the other gang members stared in alarm. Whoa, hey, just calm down, man. Please, anything but the guillotine. Kiryu pointedly ignored their pleas. I mean, you missed the bit where Hitomi legitimately died from shock because a cockroach landed on her head. So, I mean, this seems normal. This seems perfectly normal. Whoa, hey, what's the guillotine? Aki asked. Kiryu smirked. The guillotine is the guillotine. Thanks. With me, worms. Without a glance back, Kiryu strolled away, his 2 underlings following him unhappily. Aki wondered what lay in store for them, but right now he had more important things to worry about. Come on, let's go. He took Hitomi by the hand, and they were back on their way. I don't trust that guy at all. He's gonna cause problems. Oh, Hitomi perked up. That's me. She reached into her pocket and took out her cell phone. Huh? She stared at the screen with consternation. What is it? Aki asked. It's an email. From Mr. Tanaka. Who's Mr. Tanaka? He works with my father. I'm not sure what I should do. Aki remembered that the criminal had warned her against contacting her family or the police. She seemed reluctant to even open this message. I'm sure it's fine to just read an email, he said. And besides, he's not the police, and he's not your family. Yeah, you're right. Hitomi scanned the message anxiously. It sounds like he's worried about me, she said. Does he know about the kidnapping? Yeah, I know my father trusts him. And he's always been so... Hitomi cut herself short. Still, it was clear to Aki that she and this Tanaka person had some sort of close relationship. I wonder if it's safe for me to let him know what the situation is. I think it should be, Aki told her. I mean, the kidnappers aren't gonna know you sent an email, right? Unless they do. Hitomi began typing out a response. Oh, man. Oh, even just hearing that, flashing back to the days where, like, you had to tap a button multiple times to get to the letter, texting that way. Like, you got used to it, obviously, but, like, I'm glad we now have phones with actual keyboards. T9, that's what it was, yeah. Oh, T9 phones. Aki watched over her, wild speculations running through his mind. There was no way a mild-mannered young lady like her could be dating one of her father's co-workers, was there? So we clearly can't jump over there yet, but we'll have to at some point, potentially. And now we have it here. Unless she was all about finding herself a sugar daddy. No, he was being ridiculous. Aki banished the thought from his mind. Besides, Hitomi's personal life wasn't the problem right now. The problem was that psycho with the cane and the gun. Is something wrong? Hitomi asked. She'd finished sending her email. Oh, no, nothing. Nothing at all. Aki did his best to look nonchalant. It was a good thing she couldn't read his mind. I guess. hotel bind? I don't trust that. They exited Center Guy and resumed their approach onwards towards Danganronpa by way of Maruyamako. There are many hotels in Maruyamako. These are not ordinary establishments, but rather the sort of hotel where two people, who are so inclined, might, redacted, a couple heading to this kind of place in the early afternoon would without a doubt be assumed to be bent on, redacted. You might be wondering whether an option for these two to get up to mischief will appear in a selection prompt. Well, don't get your hopes up. This isn't that kind of game. I wish I had like a quick button for like the censorship beep for that exact point in time. Another long detour to decrease their odds of running into the gunman. They made an unlikely pair. Scruffy Aki, limbs lackadaisically swinging to hide his embarrassment, and brisk, purposeful, yeah, Hitomi. Aki found himself watching her out of the corner of his eye. He could still feel her anxiety. He wished there was some way he could ease her fears. Hey, Hitomi, mind if I ask you something? Sure, go ahead. Okay, so like, I realize this might be kind of a weird question, but he put on a serious face. What does the eco and eco-friendly mean? Huh? Like, I know it's about helping the earth and all, but I don't know what it really means, you know? Hitomi thought for a moment. Pretty sure it's short for the English word ecology, which is the science of examining the relationships between man and nature. A subset of biology that deals with the reciprocal relationship between organisms and their environment. Nowadays, the term can also refer to culture and social effects on the global environment. The later usage can be broad and imprecise, making the exact meaning somewhat difficult to define. Oh, right, science. Pleased with himself, Aki chatted on excitedly. A faint smile crept back onto Hitomi's face. Say, you ever hear about the clean river here in Shibuya? A clean river? In Shibuya? Really? Ask 100 youngsters outside of Shibuya Station the same question, and you'd probably get that same answer 100 times. Yeah, the Shibuya River. You know, that drainage channel we saw earlier? Wait, that's the clean river you're talking about? By no reasonable definition was the Shibuya River what anyone would call clean. That's the one, Aki grinned at her. Grinned at her confusion. See, the river used to be clean a long time ago. I read about it in this old book called Science Strikes Back. A popular monthly magazine abbreviated to SSB. The series has been running for 29 years now, but the Strike Back appendix is still immensely popular with the children. The woman who handles the home deliveries is known as the SSB lady, and children wait excitedly on the 25th of each month for her to make her rounds. I used to have that book, Hitomi chirped, her eyes wide with excitement. You're talking about that bit with the river that got turned into a song, right? The famous 1912 song Haru no Ogawa, The Spring Brook, with lyrics by Tatsuyuki Takano, and music by Taichi Okano. It is said that the song was inspired by the view of the upper course of the Shibuya River during Takano's childhood. In the modern days, there is a stone monument bearing the song's lyrics along the Odakyu line between Yoyogi Hachiman and Sanubashi. Yeah, that's the one. You read it too? I did. Aki felt a giddy rush at this unexpected connection they shared. Imagine if there was still a clean, beautiful river here in Shibuya. It'd be the perfect place for taking a romantic stroll. Hitomi looked up at Aki. She seemed to share his joy in this idea. Wouldn't it be amazing, Aki said, if that dirty little canal, could be clean like it used to be? It would. Maybe as amazing as the look on Hitomi's face right now, Aki thought. Aki, you're trying to save her from being gunned down. Don't catch feelings yet. Save from gunmen first, then flirt. Don't get distracted. Hitomi, tell me some more ecology stuff. Hit me with that whatever you got. She seemed happy to oblige, and so as they walked along, Hitomi explained the bits of knowledge she picked up over the years. Now's the time for thirst. Aki was quiet, hanging on her every word, and while he was distracted, the gunman showed up. Their turn to Danganronpa became an impromptu environmentalism lecture. Hitomi continued until she'd exhausted her ready knowledge. I just don't get it, Aki grumbled when she paused at last. I mean, why is it a bad thing if the planet gets warmer? Wouldn't that make winter in places like Hokkaido way easier? No, you see, because the whole planet gets warmer, it'll cause the whole ecosystem to collapse. Yeah, this is 2008, by the way. Aki racked his brain. And the ecosystem is what again? Is that like a solar system? Images of the cosmos filled his imagination. No, not really, Hitomi said. So it's more like a sound system then? Not really. Oh, but anyway, you're saying the problem is with the, what was it again? Carbon dioxide. Yeah, that stuff. I'm gonna have to cut down on that. Sure. That settles it, Aki declared proudly. No more soda from... Soda? Hitomi asked. Yeah, it's carbonated, right? Hitomi burst out laughing. What? I'm serious. You don't think I can do it? I'm sorry, Hitomi said, catching her breath. It's just... Her face froze, her mirth abruptly vanishing. Oh no. Huh? Aki stared at her face in alarm. What is it? He got distracted by the thirst. He turned his attention in the direction Hitomi was looking. The man with the cane was bearing down on them. He's gotta have some way of tracking them. Like, mind you, they weren't being overly quiet there, but like, they took the longest roundaboutest way they could have. He's gotta have a way of tracking them. Oh, come on! You've got to be kidding me! He grabbed Hitomi's hand and ran. This time, he headed for the main road, hoping to get lost in the crowd. Hitomi struggled to keep up. She was exhausted after all their earlier running. You can do it, he told her. The guy's got a cane. We can outrun him. The assassin was still hurrying after them. Once we get around the next corner, we'll be out on the main road. Yeah, okay. She strained to get the words out. Bit by bit, her feet were slowing down. There's another 50 meters or so to the main road. Aki realized that they might get caught before they got there. Also, it's weird he hasn't shot. Like, he hasn't even fired a shot and missed yet, right? He's had them point blank at, like, the first time it was really noticeable was when he got them in that corridor, like that alleyway where they knocked over some stuff in his way. It's like, maybe his whole point is just to keep them from, like, settling down and, like collecting their thoughts. So he seems to be more scaring them away than actually... Like, don't get me wrong. I see a guy pointing a gun at me, I'm running. I wouldn't be thinking like this. But I'm the player, not the characters. Aki realized that they might get caught before they got there. Sorry, Hitomi, he exclaimed, but I gotta do this. He scooped her up in his arms. Sleep. By the time the squeak had escaped her mouth, Aki was already running full out. Aki? Please put me down? Don't worry, you're super light. Aki glanced back and saw the assassin, now far behind, break off his pursuit. But just as they rounded the corner, he heard the man call out to him. Oh, is he actually going to shoot now? Aki almost stopped on reflex. Hold on. Did he just shout my name? How the heck does he know my name? Quaking with unease, Aki slipped into the crowd. That is disconcerting. Not good that he knows our name. Aki? Could you please set me down now? A meek voice pulled him from his panic. Huh? He looked down at the girl in his arms. People in the crowd all around them were watching and chuckling. I mean, I'm really happy you saved me and all. But being carried around like this is, Hitomi was blushing, beet red. But Aki's expression had gone pale. Aki, wait. Oh man. Had he really heard that right? That's what it had sounded like. He set Hitomi back on her feet, then used his shirt sleeve to wipe the sweat from his face. He looks very sweaty in that picture. You okay? Hitomi asked. When we were running just now, did that guy say anything? Not that I heard, no. Huh. Had he just imagined it then? Maybe. Aki was sure he didn't recognize the man. K-Man is protecting Aki? Yeah. He's still pointing a gun at them a lot. So, if we go from that theory, that he's protecting Aki, but he keeps pointing a gun at them, and he's pointing a gun at her. She doesn't seem threatening. Well, she's got a twin. So maybe Gunman doesn't know about the whole kidnapping. Maybe he's entirely unrelated to the kidnapping, doesn't know jack all about that. You're right, Potions. She was Wesker all along. You know, all joking aside, somehow Potion's going to end up being right. At the end of this all, somehow at the end of all of this, the secret's going to be like they were Wesker the whole time. Potion's going to be like, I called it. I hadn't considered that, Ramen, but if we roll with that, it doesn't seem like Hitomi's any threat to us. We don't know, though. We only know her from what we've seen. Maybe she's just putting on a good show, but, like, if she's got a twin, which we do know she does, maybe that twin sucks. And we know her sister, via playing the father's chapter, we know that after a while, she at least got distant from her father. We don't know about her sister. But, like, we know she definitely became distant from them. I mean, who knows? Maybe Tama's Wesker, really. There's something weird about that guy, though, Hitomi murmured. She furrowed her brow. No matter where we run, he keeps catching up to us. Yeah, I'm still pretty sure he's tracking them somehow. It's almost like he knows where we're going, yeah. She was right. Finding a particular pair of people in a place as busy as Shibuya bordered on the impossible. And yet, somehow, the assassin had tracked them down several times now. Yeah, no matter how you look at it, though, he's got to be tracking them somehow. I'm going to assume it's going to end up being one of the phones. Just a blind assumption. Yeah, Aki said. It's like he's got some way of locating us or something. You got a sudden idea. That's it. What if they're doing the whole tracking thing, but like, backwards? What? Tomi's eyes widened. Okay, so you know how in police shows they always stick a tracking device on the bag with the ransom money? Like that, but backwards. Okay, so backwards isn't the right way to describe this, but Aki doesn't realize that. He does seem to know what a tracking device is at least. A radio transmitter that can be located by the signal it emits. The Japanese police sometimes refer to this as a beeper, not to be confused with the English slang term beeper, meaning a pager. I like how the game's just straight up like, yeah, it's not the right terminology. Aki doesn't get it. Don't worry about it. Backwards? Yeah, like instead of putting the tracker on the money, they put it on you. Hitomi frowned. I don't see how I could possibly have a tracker on me, she said. Even the hint prompts are roasting Aki. I'm just wearing my clothes from home. Oh, well then how is he doing it then? Barely a moment passed from the moment he got the words out of his mouth. Once again, the man with the cane stepped out onto the road ahead of them. He really did seem as if he'd know exactly where they were going to be. How the hell is this happening? Or, Gunman's from the future. Gunman's from the future. It's clearly that. Time traveler. That's true. He's definitely not aiming at Hitomi there. Yeah, he's very obviously aiming at Aki there. Trunks, yep, exactly. He reached for Hitomi's waist, ready to pick her up again. It's okay, I can run by myself. Aki took her by the hand instead, and they raced into another alley. John Connor. Yeah, exactly, yes. This guy just will not give up. Far into the alley, you could see a forklift parked beside a pile of cardboard boxes. Aki decided to throw the boxes at the pursuer, hop into the forklift, and drive it at the assassin. Ooh. Block his way, or charge him in a forklift. I can see both of those going wrong, is the problem. Neither is a bad option, but I can really easily say both of them going wrong. Yeah, B will either get a shot or actually like deter the guy. Got one vote for A, one vote for B. Ooh, okay. I think B is the wrong answer. I want to see how B plays out, so I'm gonna cast. Oh, Sujun says B. I was gonna cast a vote. Aki can drive a forklift. That's factual. He might be a good guy. You're right. I'm not saying I think B is the right answer. I'm saying I think B is going to be entertaining. It's also got more votes. But I don't think it's the progression answer. This ends now. Aki leapt into the forklift and hit the ignition. The engine roared to life. He lowered the forks and stepped on the accelerator, picking up the pallet of cardboard boxes as he charged towards the man with the cane. The tower of boxes struck the man with a thud. Aki kept accelerating, driving him back a good 10. Okay, he didn't run him over, he's just kind of pushing him back. The gunman let out a low grunt at the impact. Aki then hit the brake, shifted back into reverse, and hit the gas again, backing up as fast as he could. The boxes crashed down in a heap, burying the assassin underneath. Several small bottles spilled from the broken cardboard and shattered on the pavement. If it's burning a hammer, I'm going to lose my cool. That picture is definitely burning hammer, right? Hey, what the hell are you doing? A middle-aged man in a sanitation uniform. Oh, god damn it, it is! We just moved the burning hammer away from the dock. That's why it got picked up by the truck, because it was garbage, because it all fell. We played ourselves, yo. A middle-aged man in a sanitation uniform had come running at the sound of the forklift. Sorry man, gotta run, Aki exclaimed as he jumped from the vehicle, and don't forget to recycle that glass, and he does, we know that. Just that one gun hand pointing out from some boxes. He took Hitomi's hand and sprinted down the alleyway. The sanitation worker glowered after him, then turned and gazed despondently at the jumbled pile of boxes and broken glass, with a gun hand sticking out of it, inconspicuously. Their ragged breathing echoed through the maze of side streets. All that work just to wind up fleeing for their lives again. Aki ground his teeth in frustration. There are two main types of teeth grinding: the subconscious act of gritting one's teeth together while asleep, and gritting one's teeth together as a response to anger or frustration. Here we have an example of two. At roughly the same time, Minoru Minorikawa is grinding his teeth while trying to keep to his schedule. Come on. We can't swap there yet, but I just need to be able to do it later. Hitomi, he groaned when they slowed down to catch their breath. At last, I'm so sorry. Hitomi was nonplussed. Sorry, whatever for? I keep saying how I'm gonna help you, but instead I just keep putting you in danger. Aki, no. If you hadn't been with me, I'm sure I'd already be No, Aki hurried to cut her off before she could finish. Don't go there, please. He sighed, then spoke again more quietly. I just want to help you. Clenching a fist, he looked up at the sky. A tiny sliver of blue was visible through the narrow gap between the buildings. Hitomi hung her head. Honestly, I can hardly believe how much you've done for me. I do appreciate it, but still, the lengths you've gone to. Aki looked at his feet, then drew himself up. Well, I admit it's not just because of some gut instinct or your love for the environment, he said. There's another reason I'm doing this. There is? Aki paused, searching for the right words. Got a little sister. Her name's Suzune. She's cute and smart, kind of the exact opposite of me, you know? His voice took on an uncharacteristic solemnity? But she's got a weak heart, so she's in the hospital. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. But what does that have to do with wanting to help me? Back when Suzune was first admitted, I'd go and visit her every day. But she... Aki, you don't need to come visit me every day, you know? The quiet hospital room made Suzune's voice sound all the more frail. What are you talking about? Aki said. You know I'm worried about you. I'll be fine on my own, really. Aki had heard that line before. The more she insisted she was fine, though, the more reluctant he was to leave her. Besides, aren't you the amazing guy who helps hold Shibuya together? They need you out there. Aki didn't know how to respond to that. Much as it was flattering to think he played some important role, he was really just hanging out and goofing off with his pals. I mean, he said she's in the hospital. It certainly wasn't anything for his sister to be proud of. I'd rather you spend your energy helping people who need it more than me. What do you mean, people who need to help more? Who could possibly need help right now more than you? Aki scratched his head in confusion, and his sister gave him a weak, tiny smile. You'll figure it out, she said. I'm sure they'll find you soon enough. I'm going to be here with you. I'll be fine. Suzune's face was pale, but her tone was firm. My big brother is going to be out there doing his best to help people. That's what makes me happy. That's what keeps me going. Her voice was clear and unwavering, as if to head off his rebuttal. Alright, Aki said with a reluctant sigh. So then, I guess, let's go out there and help people who are in trouble. Satisfied, Suzune smiled. Thank you. And can you promise me one more thing? Of course, anything you'd like. He thumped himself on the chest. If you're going to help someone, make sure you see it all the way through to the end, okay? So she clearly saw the future, right? We can all agree that she's also a time traveler. Okay. No calling it quits partway through, yeah? You got it. I just worry, Suzune said. I know you have a tendency to lose interest in things. Look, don't sweat it. I swear I won't give up on this. She is keen, man. You're right, it's so obvious. Aki stuck out his pinky finger. But I want you to promise me something in return. Promise me you won't let this thing beat you. Suzune hooked her little finger around her brother's, her sad smile fragile as glass. See? And he said still in the hospital. Not to say by the end of the game nothing bad will happen, and I hope it doesn't, but we're good for the moment. And so there you have it, Aki said. Kind of a rubbish story, I know, not very funny. So your sister's heart condition, it's pretty bad? Aki nodded. You know, she called me amazing. There's nothing amazing about me. Suzune, she's the amazing one. She's been in the hospital so long, in so much pain, but she never complains. All I do is hang out and goof off with my friends. He gave a shrug. How could her health possibly decline in a few hours? I know. But I just kept thinking about how happy she'd be if I really did help people. But it turned out that finding people in need hadn't been all that simple. The only helpful thing Aki had been able to think of was going around picking up trash. That's why Suzune's idiot brother left SOS to be Shibuya's garbage man. Good reason as well. Sorry. I put in some mustache wax during D&D, and it worked for a good long while, actually. But it's starting to clearly need adjustment real quick. It's working. I'm starting to get better use of it. Did your friends know, Hitomi asked, about your sister? Viper mustache wax. Never something I thought it's not even something I really knew existed. I didn't tell them. I didn't want to pin this all on her being sick. Ah, I see. At least now Hitomi understood what the fight with the local toughs had been about. The sound of approaching footsteps jerked them back into the present. Wow! The man with the cane appeared at the end of the alley. He raised his gun. There was no time to flee. Aki quickly stepped in front of Hitomi. If you shoot us here, people are going to come running, he said. I'm guessing you don't want to get pegged for murder. The assassin didn't flinch. Stay out of my way, Aki. This time there was no doubt. The gunman had spoken Aki's name loud and clear. How do you know who I am? The man stared at him through the sights of his gun. She has to die, Aki. It's for your own good. The mystery deepens. What? What does he mean? Hitomi whispered. Aki, what is he talking about? Aki's mind was a whirl. Things were coming at him too fast for him to process. I don't know this guy. Hitomi, please, you have to believe me. But... Hitomi took a doubtful step away from Aki. The assassin didn't miss his opening. He literally stepped between you and the man, like he's trying to block bullets with his body. If nothing else, like... he quickly aimed at her. Cut the crap, man! What do you mean killing her is for my own... Good, excuse me. Once she's dead, you'll understand. No, you gotta lead with more than that. The gunman's finger tightened on the trigger. That'll be the to be continued, right? They would do that to... God damn it. Game, why? Why, game? Why do this to me? Okay. Banana time? We can go there. We know we might have to hop to his from where we just were. So that's good to know that, like, we'll have the answer to that one ready to go. Cliffhangers work, of course they do. They've been using them plenty enough as it is, so, like, that's how it is. Yeah, because we know we can get to this guy's thing from where we were. The rain won't let up. No matter how much time passes, it just won't stop. Ever since that day, the sound of raindrops has been burned into my mind. Such an awful, heart-rending sound, driving me to strip my life down to shadows. And yet, no matter what else I abandon, nothing will make the sound of the rain stop. So we're in for another happy chapter from the Doctor. Time for depression. Yup. Straight up. Osawa stared at a postcard that was nestled into the final page of the photo album. He'd purchased it 2 years earlier while on a trip with Maria to the Middle East. Originally used to indicate Iran, Afghanistan, and the region surrounding them, in modern times the term refers to part of southwestern Asia, excluding India and Afghanistan, and the section of northeastern Africa along the Mediterranean coast. However, in Japan, as well as the US, the term Middle East is often understood to refer specifically to those parts of the region with a strong Islamic influence. Okay. He mentioned that he was just being sent there on business, and Maria had just blurted out, "I want to go with you." She'd recently developed an interest in the Middle East conflict, and apparently she had been yearning to see the area firsthand. The ongoing friction in the Palestine region between the Jewish people who founded the nation of Israel and the Arabs who had been living there previously. The religious and historical context of this cultural clash is well beyond the scope of what can be elucidated here. His daughter's newfound curiosity had taken him aback. She had always tended to be quiet and self-contained. The clumsy conversations aboard the airplane, the meal eaten together in awkward silence, it all felt like such a distant memory to Osawa now. "Ma'am, I'm afraid I can't let you do that." He heard Kajiwara's voice outside the door. "Why ever not? I'm just going out for a bit." The detective was arguing with Ai. Great. And just who was it who told me I should try to go about my life as normal, Osawa's wife sneered. "Ma'am, please, How would you feel about being told to just sit around and wait?" Ai's angry shriek jerked Osawa to his feet. He hurried from the study to try and calm her down. Ma'am, please, wait!" She's gone. But by the time Osawa had made his way downstairs, his wife had already stormed outside, despite Kajiwara's attempts to stop her. Osawa doubted anything he could have said would have stopped Ai from leaving. Trying to physically keep her from going out would have only made for an even worse uproar. He was glad that at least it hadn't come to that. He was turning to head back to the study when Kajiwara caught his eye. Resigned, he headed down the stairs and bowed to the detective. Case 12, I suppose. What even... Any idea where she's going? Kajiwara asked. I mean, at a time like this? Osawa shook his head. I wouldn't know. I didn't think so. You know, your wife really is something else. Osawa arched an eyebrow. That's one way to describe her. A rather rude way, as a matter of fact. He's not wrong. Oh, no offense intended. It's just that, ever since this case started, you've both been holed up in your own respective rooms. The more Kajiwara spoke, the more irritated Osawa became. What's your point? He demanded. I just mean you haven't been having any, Yeah, you two haven't been, hooking up since literally last night, when your daughter was kidnapped for ransom. According to one survey, in roughly 6% of households, discourse between spouses is largely non-existent. Various reasons for this were offered by the couples in question. Many claimed that they were too tired to have the energy to talk, or stated, we wind up fighting when we talk, or we have nothing to talk about. Oh, they're talking about talking. Talking. Conversations. Long, deep, hard conversations. Yeah. Mind your own business, Osawa snapped. Kajiwara dipped his head differently. The two of us not talking isn't a new thing, anyhow, Osawa added. I have a policy of not having pointless conversations. It's quite common for Kenji Osawa to make it through an entire day without having a single conversation. Clearly it's not here. On many days he opens his mouth only to eat or brush his teeth. His current record is a streak of 14 consecutive days during which he didn't talk to anyone. Damn. Damn. Huh? It didn't look as though Kajiwara quite understood. Microorganisms such as viruses don't have conversations, and yet still they continually propagate in order to survive. Thinking about viruses, Osawa was back in familiar territory. He felt a surge of confidence. So what you're saying is you don't talk, but you keep, propagating? That's a very good question, Robin. That's a very good question. I don't know. Once you have a clear purpose, conversation is unnecessary. Do you have a clear purpose for the relationship with your wife, Mr. Osawa? Of course I do. To be a family. Arms crossed, Kajiwara struck a thoughtful pose. At least, I've learned one useful thing today, Mr. Osawa. Namely, that you don't like to have pointless conversations. It's a good thing to know. Kajiwara uncrossed his arms for a moment, then crossed them right back again, furrowing his brow. But see, that's funny. You seem to have a tendency to have pointless conversations with me, and because you keep coming to talk to me. Osawa saw red. You don't leave me much of a choice. Tanaka poked his head out of the living room. Is something the matter? He asked. No. Osawa struggled to regain his calm. Perfect timing, actually. There's something I need to talk to you about. He turned back to Kajiwara. Yeah. My apologies, Detective, but would you mind giving us some privacy? Yeah, I truly don't understand how he got married either time, but twice, Kajiwara didn't move. Detective? Osawa gave the policeman a hard look, and saw him crack a smile. Yes? What is it? Kajiwara said at last. Don't you play dumb with me. Give us some privacy. Is this a discussion I shouldn't overhear? Actually, yes. It's work-related. There are business matters I'd prefer to keep confidential. Ah, I see. Hand him a banana. Reluctantly getting to his feet, Kajiwara slipped away into the living room. Definitely didn't, go just out of earshot and be like, Tanaka, Osawa began, about those emails. He stopped abruptly. Kajiwara had reappeared on the living room door, staring right at them. Super subtle. What are you doing? Osawa demanded. Oh, should I not be watching? Osawa felt like he was about to burst a blood vessel. I mean, you never told me that I couldn't watch. because it should be obvious. The detective made a scolded puppy face, then closed the living room door. Osawa let out a heavy sigh. He'd never been an extrovert, but he didn't recall human interaction being quite this draining. Anyway, sir, Tanaka prompted. You were saying? Yes, about those emails. Something doesn't make sense. I don't understand how Mr. Makino was able to get the antiviral agent to anyone on the outside. Sharing an Okoshi Pharmaceuticals drug with external sources while still under development required the approval of an executive committee that included Osawa himself. There should have been no way the antiviral could be sent out without his knowledge. Tanaka hesitated a few moments before responding. Are you aware of the strife between the company president and the chairman? Osawa shook his head. He was a researcher through and through. Factional rivalries held no interest for him whatsoever. Makino effectively leads the chairman's team, and the antiviral agent is their pet project. Despite being the executive office in charge of the project, however, Makino still needs the president's approval to... You know what? Forget about that right now. What do we do about security? In theory, it was physically impossible to get the antiviral out of the lab without detection. Entry to the biohazard laboratory where it was kept required fingerprint authentication, technology that allows an individual's identity to be verified by scanning the fingerprints. It is one element of biometrics, the measurement of physical characteristics to identify individuals. There are even devices that can identify people by checking the veins in the palms of their hands or the irises of their eyes. It's a match. You're in. From both Osawa and Tanaka. Without the two of them there, nobody could even get into the storage facility. Because the dangerous virus is also stored there, the lab where the antiviral is kept is protected by an ID checkpoint, as well as a sophisticated 3-tiered lock system that requires fingerprint authentication. Multiple security guards are also posted outside the laboratory entrance 24 hours a day, making it all but impossible for an unauthorized person to get into the secured storage area. I mean, that makes sense. If you're also storing the antiviral there is precious enough, but if you store the literal secret super blood everywhere virus there and you have samples of it, you lock that nonsense down, and you lock it down tight. Tanaka followed his drift. Ah yes, I see what you mean. He inclined his head as though in thought as Osawa continued. Could someone have overwritten the fingerprint authentication program? Let's check the entry logs for the storage section. We'll just have to ask him in person. I feel like they wouldn't keep an entry log. Oh, entry logs? My thought process is they wouldn't keep an entry log if they could get in, because they got in without fingerprint authentication is the issue, which they needed Osawa there for. So somebody would have had to find a way around that. So I'm leaning A, but I'll give B a shot. But I feel like if somebody was going to find their way in without following the proper procedures, they also wouldn't sign the book. I'll give it a shot. Let's check the entry logs for the storage section. Anyone who wanted to get inside had to present their ID cards at the security guard on duty. Excuse me. It should be possible to check the computer logs to see if there had been any suspicious activity in the system. Tanaka shook his head. I already checked the logs, sir. There's no evidence of anything suspicious. You're welcome to check for yourself, though, if you're that worried. No, I believe you. Yet the fact was that the antiviral had been used for clinical testing. Yeah, it could be the guard. That is definitely possible. Either Makino had taken it from the laboratory personally, or someone working on his orders had done so. But how? Was there really some way they could have bypassed lab security without anyone else knowing? Osawa couldn't think how it would be possible. The living room door opened with a soft creak. It was Kajiwara, and he looked stiff and pale. Something terrible has happened, he said. Visions of tragedy flooded Osawa's mind. Maria... is she... Kajiwara shook his head. No, it's not that. What is it then? Osawa asked, his voice trembling. Well, in this case, he actually seems to have news. Sir, I need you to stay calm. Osawa swallowed the lump in his throat. He doesn't seem to be trolling him right now. He seems to actually have bad news. Unless, we'll see. You see... The second I utter words like that, games go, "Oh, I heard you say the words, Viper." The toilet's clogged. Ah. He's the perfect troll. Plunger in hand, Osawa stabbed vigorously at the reluctant... No. I don't know that word. Recalcitrant? Toilet bowl, struggling to loosen the unseen blockage. I clearly need to up my vocabulary, but that's not a word I know. Kajiwara was at his side, wiping up the floor with a rag. Yeah, you and me both potions. Also 1 second. Oh my god, yeah, if it's a banana, holy crap. How did this even happen? The detective groaned. Are you kidding? I was hoping you could tell me that. The plunger sucked and slurped the porcelain basin. This was a first for Osawa. He'd never tried to unclog a toilet before in his life. Bull crap. Bull. Either you had a literal, like, housekeeper, or you're lying. Or he made his wife do it, I suppose. But, like, no. I don't believe that. Bull crap, yeah. Think of it as a blessing in disguise, Mr. Osawa. What the hell are you talking about? What about this constitutes a blessing? I just mean that at least this happened before you needed to, do your business. Without the slightest hint of guile in his face, Kajiwara picked up his bucket and headed for the sink back in the washing area. Grumbling to himself, Osawa pumped the plunger over and over again. This was almost funny. Almost ridiculous. In fact, his daughter had been kidnapped and he was stuck unclogging a toilet. He was quite possibly caught up in a major corporate conspiracy, and here he was, unclogging a toilet. I hope Donkey Kong is actually the true hero of this story. Other than the fact that I want it to be Aki, to be the actual true hero. But Aki and Donkey Kong. Aki, I hope the true heroes are Aki, Donkey Kong, Mr. Bossman, and the cab driver. They need to all band together and save the day. Tanaka poked his head into the bathroom. Did you fix it yet? If you need to urinate, then use the restroom on the second floor. The cab driver was great. That's alright. Here's fine. Tanaka stepped in beside him and abruptly shut the bathroom door. I think what makes this truly creepy is that he's making direct eye contact with the camera. Like, he's not looking at Osawa. He's looking at me. Now the two men were crammed together in the narrow lavatory. Hey, Osawa hissed. What the hell are you doing? Tanaka made eye contact with Osawa via the mirror. Over the mirror. He spoke in a hushed voice. I've been waiting for a moment I could get you alone. What? Tanaka sidled around to face him, giving him an intense stare. Sir, could you please be quiet for a moment? Tanaka had tears in the corners of his eyes. This will only take a moment. Osawa could feel the warm breath of the deputy whispering against his cheek. Tanaka reached for something inside his coat. Hey, come on, knock it off. Asawa lifted the plunger like a weapon. Look, if you want to talk, we can do it out there. Asawa shoved Tanaka out of the bathroom. Alright, do as you wish. Asawa closed his eyes. It's gotta be C, right? Embrace death. I mean, he's clearly gonna show us something that he just didn't want the officers to overhear. Tanaka honestly seems fairly trustworthy. Like, really. But we don't know. But I also want to see how it plays out. I feel like for comedic effect, it'll be good. Alright, do as you wish. Asawa closed his eyes. Are you sure you're ready for this? I'm not sure. This is all happening pretty fast. To be honest, I'm rather nervous. I understand, sir. I mean, now that I think of it, we do spend day in and day out in that lab together. I suppose this was bound to happen sooner or later. Sir, could you please open your eyes? Hey, he's gonna show him a banana, alright. I'd like you to look at this. You'll have to forgive me. This is all a bit sudden. Please, sir, take a look. No, I can't. It's just the two of us. It's probably going to shock you, I know. But please, just look. Is it really that shocking? Oh yes. Very. Now please, open your eyes. Okay. No, I can't. Sir, trust me, this isn't easy for me either. Alright. Bracing himself, Osawa opened his eyes. Tanaka thrust out a cell phone. Here, take a look at this. Huh? Osawa blinked, bewildered, then refocused on the phone. He could never have anticipated what he saw on the LCD screen. But it's his junk. Oh, this is where we jump back to it. Okay, so we know where to jump to. It's clearly just going to show him the email. No, the email from his daughter wouldn't be shocking, but we don't know what her response was. We don't know what her response was at all. We know she said he asked her like how she's doing, what she's up to, how's it going. We don't know. Yeah, the tone of his story is wild. It really is. Just insane. Alright, so over to Best Boy real quick, so we can jump over. Father. So we only know what she told us about the email, and that she responded, not what she responded with. Yep, speculation. Her father? Or maybe they are dating, I don't know. Jumping over. And not just jumping over, jumping 5 minutes into the future, too. Here, take a look at this. Yep. It was an email from Hitomi. Yep, but we don't know what she's gonna say. Stifling an exclamation, he scanned the contents of the message. There's a man following me. He has a gun, and I think he's trying to kill me. I'm safe for the moment, so try not to worry. The kidnapper warned me, told me not to contact my family or the police. Please keep this email a secret. But didn't Hitomi give the kidnapper the ransom, Osawa said? What could anyone want with her now? Tanaka shook his head, uncertain. You wouldn't know any better than I would, I suppose. Do the police know about this? And if so, why haven't they said anything? He felt himself start to tremble as he searched for answers in Tanaka's silent gaze. That cut to toilet paper, though. Do you think this could be related to that other thing? I doubt it. If it were, why would they go after Hitomi? Why would they got after? I assume it was supposed to be go. I suppose you're right, but Sabo was shaking outright now. Tanaka laid a hand on his shoulder. First, just calm down. Let's think about what we know about the kidnapper. Excuse me. His composure helped Osawa keep himself under control. That shot, though. Are we seeing this from the point of view of the banana? They've taken Maria. I'm just going to go with Maria at this rate, the vice director continued quietly. Along with a ransom of 50 million yen. And now, they're after Hitomi. His gaze sharpened. That camera angle is from the toilet. It's the toilet's point of view. Sir, do you think this could be someone who holds a personal grudge against you? Grudge? Osawa considered. He couldn't think of anyone who would have a reason to attack him. Nobody who sent you threatening emails saying this was all your fault today? Nah, nobody would have a reason to attack you. No, you literally just saw evidence that they do, you fool. He'd been too caught up in virus research since his time at school to have formed any hostile rivalries. Literally just got emails from those people. He didn't have any enemies that he knew of. Maybe someone's jealous that I became head of a laboratory, he suggested doubtfully. He had held his position for years at this point. Why would that spur someone into kidnapping his daughter now? Has anything happened recently? Tanaka asked. Anything strange since you got back from overseas? Since I got back? Osawa's heart skipped a beat, then started pumping faster. First thing that came to mind was the solicitation he'd gotten from the American laboratory. If he accepted the offer, it would put Okushi Pharmaceutical in quite a bind. Possibly enough to warrant someone holding a grudge over it. But the only other person who knew about the potential transfer right now was his wife, I. No, Osawa said. Nothing. Not that I could think of. He couldn't bring himself to discuss the transfer with Tanaka. He felt a surge of guilt for contemplating leaving his trusted assistant behind. Could be, yeah, that's true. Could be American. We don't know. If he did make the move to America, he planned to recommend that Tanaka replace him as department director. Still, he didn't expect that to make up for his abandonment. Alright, I'll see what information I can find then, Tanaka said. The kidnapper had forbidden any contact with either family or the police. But Tanaka was outside of that circle, and he knew how to handle himself with discretion. You sneak up behind somebody in the bathroom while they're plunging the toilet. That's discretion. But Tanaka was outside of— oh, I read that. I'm sorry to have to put this on you, Osawa said. And thank you. For now, let's see if we can get Hitomi to exchange some more emails. An uncomfortable thought suddenly occurred to Osawa. He blurted it out without thinking. Why do you have my daughter's contact information on your phone? Tanaka gave him a worried look. Sir, I promise I can explain once all this is over. Not now? And with that, he stepped out of the bathroom. Maybe they are dating. He didn't even say now. He's like, I'll tell you later. Something in the tone of his final words left Osawa to wonder. Could it be that Tanaka and Hitomi were dating? He hoped dearly for that not to be the case. Their age difference alone made the idea a disturbing one, let alone so many other considerations. Mamoru Tanaka is 40 years old. Hitomi is 19. Yeah, that's— damn. This makes him just over twice her age. This does not necessarily mean, however, they could not date or fall for each other. Many couples with such an age difference between them wind up in a happy, committed relationship. Does make it weird, though. Certainly makes it weird. Very, very weird. Trying to put aside his paranoia, Osawa resumed his struggle with the clog in the toilet. Most toilet clogs are caused by buildup of flushable paper products, or by solid objects inadvertently dropped into the toilet bowl. But shockingly enough, on very rare occasions, they can be caused by someone taking a dump that happens to be that big that it gets stuck in the pipe. Apologies to anyone who might be eating right now. Exactly, legal but creepy, for sure. Oh goodness. This man. Kajiwara reappeared, still toting the bucket. He also absolutely seems to move silently. Seems to be having a lot of trouble there, sir. You made it sound like the whole mess was Osawa's fault. Of course I am. I've never had to do this before. Really? I'd think the research you do would be a lot more difficult than this. Fixing toilets gives me far more trouble, I'd say. So it would seem. Kajiwara stood, watching, as if Osawa's efforts made an interesting show. I don't know the first thing about viruses, sir, but I don't find unclogging toilets to be that difficult. Oh yeah? Osawa snapped. Then how about you fix the damn thing? Kajiwara really was a world-class pro at pissing people off. Are you sure? You don't mind? The detective asked. Be my goddamned guest. Osawa shoved the plunger into Kajiwara's hands. Did he storm out or fall? Oh, he left, okay. Leaving the detective to handle the toilet, Osawa marched back to his study. You didn't wash your hands? You disgusting man. He turned on the CD player and lay back on the sofa, squeezing his eyes shut. Like, you gotta wash your hands, dude. You're plunging a toilet. Get people angry. That's true. It could all be a ploy. He seems to be doing it intentionally, quite honestly. He really does. He was seriously on edge. Kajiwara had totally broken his stride. What now? The door to the study slid slowly open. It's Detective Kajiwara, sir. Please don't come in here without asking. Well, my apologies, Mr. Osawa. I just wanted to inform you that the toilet has been fixed. Right? Fine. Osawa hardly cared. He just wanted this guy to give him a little peace. Oh my. Is that really all you have to say, sir? That close-up of, like, the wet glove? Who also didn't take the glove off or wash his hands before coming to the study. What are these people doing? Nary a compliment or encouraging word? Maybe a good job, Kajiwara, or a you're getting a promotion, detective. Osawa blew out his breath in exasperation. How? How are you a detective? Oh no, Sir Jude. Oh no. I'm not sure I get your meaning, sir. You are completely clueless. I'd like to ask your superiors to replace you with a detective who knows how to take his job seriously. Mr. Osawa, with all due respect, it's unusual for a precinct detective like me to be stationed here at a victim's house. What's your point? Not to brag, sir, but I happen to be an exceptional detective. Kajiwara beamed with pride. In fact, I made an excellent showing in the Superstar Detective contest we had on our police social media service, an online platform whose primary feature is allowing people to connect with one another. The police-exclusive social media network that Kajiwara belongs to is Poxy. It's very strictly regulated, with any abusive language, slander, sexual content, or lame jokes deleted almost instantly. If they delete lame jokes instantly, it's not worth being on that social media platform. The rest of it's good. Cool. You can't delete lame jokes. You can't. I'd have no content to post on anything. Carding and lame jokes are all we have here at Vibralhead. You can't take that from me. For a moment, Osawa thought the bolt of incredulous anger that shot through him was the onset of a stroke. How could a single person be so utterly infuriating? And you can't tell anyone about this, Kajiwara went on, obliviously. But this summer, a new detective manga is starting up based on me. Planned for serialization in the MPD's monthly PR magazine. The chapter titles have already been decided. Chapter 1, The Fabled Detective Kaji. Chapter 2, Kaji Howls at the Sun. Chapter 3, Kaji Rides the Rails. Chapter 4, Kaji at Daybreak. Chapter 5, Detective Kajak. Chapter 6, Kaji, Queen of the Street. Chapter 7, Look out, Kaji! Chapter 8, Kaji on the Edge. Chapter 9, Dance, Kaji, Dance. Chapter 10, Space Detective Kaji, and so forth and so on. Thank you, Potions. That's another one that's going to get some good use, I'm sure. I think my favorite is definitely... Oh, there's so many good... It's got to be Detective Kajak. It's got to be that one. Osawa spat out a peal of feigned laughter. A manga? I can tell you all about the plot, sir. Would you like to hear about it? King Kong is absolutely going to break this man. I would not. It's about a telecommuting detective who solves major crimes using just his wits and his computer. Surely you'd like to hear about that, sir? I really wouldn't. I know I may not look it, but I'm pretty handy with computers. Oh man, that would end up being great too, wouldn't it? We gotta be pretty close, right? Or, no. It depends on how long it takes us to do this. That's a little ways ahead. would be perfect though. Kajiwara's eyes drifted over to Osawa's desktop. Everything is wrong with this image. Everything is wrong with this image. Oh no. Yeah, right? Like, oh no. His hand darted to the mouse. In a matter of moments, he cleared the screensaver and booted up a web browser. It's too much. Hey, Osawa barked. Don't touch that. But it was too late. He was too late to stop the detective. Oh no. The monitor showed the page for AyaNet, a fan page devoted to Aya Kamiki. Osawa's imminent rage stroke was beginning to make his vision grow fuzzy. Imminent rage stroke. You come to this site regularly, sir? Regularly? Ah, well, I'm not sure I'd, Osawa trailed off, feeling the heat of a blush flare in his cheeks. Hey, you don't judge a man for what music he listens to. Definitely, I feel like, other than peering into his private stuff on his computer, like, other than the literal what just happened, I feel like the detective's kinda... He's definitely got a purpose here. He's definitely trying to, like, get a rise out of him, and he's definitely, to be fair, pretty suspicious. Osawa's pretty suspicious in this case. But you did just grab his computer mouse over his hand with your toilet plunging covered glove, and that's wrong. It's wrong. There's a lot of stuff on the site. Is there a section you primarily spend time on? Well, I mean, for my part, I really only go to the fan forums for folks 40 and over. Aha! With a twinkle of curiosity in his eyes, Kajiwara peered at this computer screen. Oh, super calculated. Having his privacy invaded to this degree was the ultimate disgrace. Alright, Osawa huffed. You're an amazing detective, Kajiwara. Just incredible. I see you in a new light now. Now would you please get the hell out of my room? Please leave me alone. They're both fairly similar. I feel like this one maybe won't have me have a literal stroke. Maybe? Yeah, B sounds a little more like... it seems better. Now would you please leave me alone? You got up to leave the study. Sir, hold on. There's something I wanted to give you. Kajiwara reached into his pocket. It's gonna be the goddamn banana. It's gonna be the goddamn banana. I don't need a damn banana. I don't know if he even saw it. I think he just saw him reaching into the pocket and just assumed. Osawa fled the room. He needed to be alone, if only for a few moments. But even if he could somehow shake Kajiwara, the other detectives had eyes all over his house. He had reached the limits of his patience. He couldn't even think straight anymore. He headed for the back door, trying to avoid the police. It's always the banana. Opening the door quietly, he slipped across the yard and out through the back fence. Wow, so now both he and his wife have just left. He didn't want to venture too far from the house. He found a tiny alley and took cover there, thankful for a few moments to himself at least. I get where he's coming from, as he's clearly stressed out. But also, your daughter was kidnapped. They might call back. Like, oh yeah, nothing could go wrong. While there, he caught sight of a man and a young girl. Father and his daughter, running past the main road. Again, those two were out there running around. Okay, looked as if they were running from something. The man glanced anxiously back over his shoulder, dragging his daughter by the hand. I assume that's a suicide guy and the daughter. Osawa watched absently as the pair rounded a corner and disappeared from sight. Not long after, a pair of thuggish-looking men came running along, heading— oh, wait, they're early. Those should be the debt collectors, but they're... He had said they were coming in at 4 o'clock. Oh, I picked B. I picked the, like, please leave me alone, and kind of just walked out myself, and we went out the back door and sat down when we saw 2 go by. They didn't show us, but I assume is the guy who tried to kill himself and his daughter. And these are definitely the loan sharks we saw talking to Mr. Bossman ages back. You there. One of them called out, "You see a guy and his daughter around here?" Taro Toyama and his daughter Hana. Yep, so that's what we thought. They've come to Shoto while running from loan sharks. Just moments ago, Toyama was talking on the phone with Minorikawa, so that's how we'll end up going to him at some point. But they should have come by this way. There was a hint of menace in his voice. I saw a feigned ignorance. Don't think so, no. Come on, Yutaro, let's go, said the older man. Aight, replied the other. The two dashed off in the direction the father and daughter had gone. Osawa took several long, deep breaths. He managed to calm down slightly, but the worry gnawed away inside him. Gnawing away inside him still lingered. Osawa groaned inwardly when he got back to his study. You're still here? Yes, sir. I was told to keep my eye on you, after all. Believe me, it shows. The second hop for Mino now? Yes, it is. So we're going to do potentially a bunch of hopping. Mr. Osawa, if you're going to go outside, I'd appreciate it if you let me know first. What? Had Kajiwara realized he'd snuck out of the house? But more importantly, Kajiwara reached back into his suit pocket. I've been meaning to give this to you. He held out a small plastic bag. Inside was a scrap of paper of some sort, and not a banana. What's that? Osawa asked. This is what was clogging the toilet, sir. Oh. No? How? What? With some hesitation, Osawa took hold of the bag. Huh? That's... The passenger name here is listed as Kenji Osawa. And the plastic bag was a plane ticket. Specifically, the one for his upcoming flight to the US the following week. He'd left it out on his desk. How had it wound up getting flushed down the toilet? This looks like it's pretty important, sir, Kajiwara said. I must say, it was pretty careless of you to accidentally flush it. A wry sort of smile came to his face. Although, the detective added, I suppose the question of who flushed it is another matter entirely. Yeah, it's gotta be one of the two. It wouldn't be one of the detectives. Could be theoretically a daughter, but depends on when the toilet got clogged. Osawa was at a loss for words. Someone had tried to flush his plane ticket on purpose. He was sure of it. She did leave right before that happened. And Tanaka showed no sign of knowing anything, but he also seems the type that could easily, not show his emotions. So I don't know. He knocked on the door to Ai's room, but there was no response. It didn't look like she'd gotten back home yet. Osawa let himself in. The stinging scent of her perfume pervaded the room, which was decorated all in white. Clothes were strewn all about, as if to put her slovenness on display. She'd been like this ever since they'd gotten married, and Osawa had long since stopped caring. Why did he marry her? Why did she marry him? They seem awful for one another. She doesn't seem to like him, he doesn't seem to like her. Why did they get married? Especially after finishing one marriage, you figure he'd be like, I want to make sure to try and do this right, because that didn't work. Though I don't know if we know what happened to his first marriage, do we? They might have said it, but I don't recall. Maybe. There might be other circumstances. Yeah. Oh, you're right. Her dad is the director. Maybe. That could be it. Or maybe that's just how they, were introduced to each other. Maybe the mom died? I don't know. Either died or left. Definitely wasn't there. Because he definitely made it known he was a single father to the growing up girls. Must have been Ai who tried to flush the ticket. He knew she didn't want him going to America, but still, couldn't she have found a better way to get rid of it? Next to her, he'd been stuck hunched over the damn toilet, fighting with the plunger. Osawa sat down on the bed amidst the brand-name clothing, and he spotted something odd down by his feet. It was a gold cigarette lighter. Just when had Ai picked up smoking? Osawa picked up the lighter and set it on the shelf next to the bed. He started out of the room, but then he noticed a scrapbook on the bookshelf. Scrapbook. Chunid. I can't read Japanese, but the brand of the other books is all Chunid. 2005, 2004, 2005, 2004. They're all dated. Fudge. And the rest I can't read, it's all Japanese. The rest of the shelf was filled with fashion magazines. That's okay. So the scrapbook definitely drew his eye. What else is later? I wonder. Curious, he took it down and opened it. Suddenly, Kajiwara came barging into the room. "Mr. Osawa," he cried out. "It's your wife. She's gone completely hysterical." "She's what?" "Please follow me." Kajiwara led Osawa to the cafe where I had gone. The instant he opened the door, Osawa's ears were assaulted by a veritable whirlwind of verbal fury. "What the hell are you doing? Hurry up and arrest this man!" The grating, histrionic voice was none other than Ai's. "Ma'am, please," begged the officer. She was verbally assaulting. "I just need you to come with me for a while so I can ask you a few questions about the situation." The officer looked nearly on the verge of tears. A strange man, not to be outdone by Ai shouting, added his own voice to the chorus. "Hurry up and find that listening device! She's got one on her, I'm sure of it!" The paths cross. Oh, shut up. Please, please shut up. He'd only just stepped in through the door and already Osawa wanted to run away. The cafe was almost deserted. Probably the rest of the clientele had been driven off. What few customers remained were rooted to their seats, apparently afraid of getting caught up in the mayhem themselves. "How dare you call yourself a police officer?" I harped. "This is dereliction of duty is what this is." "Ma'am, please." The officer was in tears now. "To think that good taxpayer money pays your salary. Ma'am, please." "Recording a conversation without consent is a pretty serious crime," the other man railed. "Not cracking down on that? That's dereliction of duty." "Sir, please." "You know what? Fine. I'll find the bug myself." "Sir, please," the policeman exclaimed again as the man advanced towards Ai, holding out some kind of electronic device. I recoiled. "Stop that at once! Don't you dare touch my belongings!" "Ah, so you do have something to hide." That's a great shot. The colors of the different, curtains in the background, the lamp right on her face, all the people in the background just staring, the two officers in the middle, a random case of whatever, drinks, I guess? That is a great shot. That's fantastic. Alright. Kajiwara interposed himself between I and the strange man. "Oh, not you," I groaned. "Why don't you mind your own business and get the hell out of here?" "Yeah," the man agreed. "Mind your own business." "Oh, don't you mind me," Kajiwara replied. "Ma'am, your husband is here." That's another great shot. Come on, there you go. He gestured to Osawa. Osawa hadn't expected to be put on the spot. He stood frozen, speechless. "Now what?" I snarled. "What do you want?" Nothing in particular. Osawa began to back away on reflex, but I closed in on him. "That's how it always is with you," she shrieked. "You never care one whit what I do to you. Or what I do you? And you know what? That's fine. It wouldn't kill you to show a little concern when I'm under attack like this." Excuse me. "You're her husband?" the strange man demanded. "Look, someone's planted a bug on your wife. Could she be caught up in something big? Tell me. Why? Why are they all coming at me now?" "Sir, please." The officer, too, turned to Osawa. "You know, this chapter turned out to be far less depressing than I expected it was going to be. We just want to hear your wife's side of the story. Now I'm afraid I'll have to ask all of you to accompany me back to the station." Osawa felt like he was standing in the eye of a hurricane that was whirling faster and faster. "Are you even listening? Hey, you hearing us all right, man? Everybody, please." Osawa simply stood, paralyzed, and stared as a storm of fury raged on and on, with like this music playing too? But no matter how hard he wished for some escape, the storm showed no signs of passing him by. I want to go home. I never should have come here. Why? Why did any of this have to happen? Gotta be to be continued there, right? It's gotta be. Oh no! We got a bad end? I goes overboard. Saul walked into the middle of an argument between his wife and some waiter at the cafe. Oh, so we can't even fix this from here. We gotta fix this from his side. The fight kept escalating until everyone involved got an invite down to the police station. It's doubtful that anything Osawa could have said would have stopped that. Yeah. Maybe the guy she's arguing with needs to change what he does. Yep, okay. Alright, so we gotta swap it up. That's gotta be pretty close to the to be continued point though, right? I feel like a good few scenes passed. It's gotta be, yeah, we gotta go to him. I'm just checking. Oh, he was 10 minutes from his actual end. Okay. I guess we kinda gotta. I'm honestly just enjoying every story at this rate. So we still don't have the keep out for Tama yet. We gotta keep an eye out for that. We still haven't found one yet though. Honestly, if I had to pick a protagonist to call my favorite at this rate, it's Aki. I like Kano. He's cool. He's trying his best. He's not the best at what he's trying to do, but he's honestly trying. I can respect him for that. I love Minorikawa's just over-the-top everything. He's very clearly just a Phoenix Wright character, trapped in a not Phoenix Wright game. 100%. I don't like Osawa, but I'm liking the characters around him. I'm liking his story. I don't like him. And Tama, I mean, come on. Tama's obviously best girl. We all know that. So we gotta go Minorikawa, yeah. I'm honestly like, every chapter, yeah, we keep picking Tama first. And yeah, then we go to Aki. But like, I'm liking all of them. Minorikawa stood on the sidewalk, weighing his options. Chiaki's phone call had thrown him for a loop. Yeah, at least not yet, he's not. But he's surrounded with enough of a cast of characters that keeps it interesting, and the tone of that last chapter was so different from his first chapter. So different. They had banana bathroom escapades and just Donkey Kong always watching. He had expected her to be anxious about doing interviews, but wow, she was a real basket case. The only thing you told us about her was that she went on an interview for like an hour and asked one question the whole time. You knew this. Also, let me finish my drink real quick. Still, that didn't change the fact that he had had a schedule of his own to keep. The surveillance camera story had to be his top priority, but didn't we get that interview? Chiaki would just have to find some way to fumble through things on her end. He headed on down Danganronpa, scanning his surroundings as he went. There were cameras set up on streetlights all over the place. Yep, there were so many it was hard to believe he'd never noticed them before. Yup. If you go looking for cameras, you spot cameras, but it's such a normal thing nowadays, like, why would you? One over there, another just over here. Electronic eyes peering down on passerbys from high above, where they were tougher to spot. And this was, again, what, 12 years ago? 12 years ago. Just how were the people who came to Shibuya reacting to the situation? Hey, you there! Minorikawa called out to a man riding on a bicycle. Hey you, stop! The man brought his bike to a sudden stop. Oh, it's Yasuda. Taisei Yasuda. I feel like that sounds familiar. Proprietor of a knick-knack shop in Udagawacho. Roughly 30 minutes earlier, while he was wandering along the JR tracks picking up lost abandoned items, Aki foisted... Oh, it's the guy we gave the trash to! Yeah! and so he's in a bit of a foul mood. Since then, I was so hoping he was gonna come back. He was somebody I had almost forgotten about. Since then, he's been going along on his bicycle, still picking up things from the roadside. There's a trunk on the back of his bike where he stores his finds. Huh? What's the matter? He asked. Hi, the name is Minoru Minorikawa. I'm a freelance writer. Okay. I'm just doing interviews for a magazine, and I'd like to talk to you. A magazine? Which one? 4-Star General Gossip. Minorikawa did his best to sound proud. Oh. Well, I'm actually in a bit of a hurry here. Minorikawa soldiered on. See that? He pointed at one of the nearby surveillance cameras. What? The man asked. The blimp? A massive blimp was indeed drifting slowly overhead. The type of aircraft that floats using the lift provided by an enormous envelope filled with lighter-than-air gas. This envelope, the balloon, is often used for corporate advertising. This particular blimp has been puttering about the skies above Shibuya since last night. Do you usually send blimps out for an overnight stay? I feel like I only ever see blimps for like an hour or two period, and they just kind of... But since overnight? Well, maybe it's to promote a concert or something, you know. No, the camera. The camera watched them both in uncaring silence. Oh, that. What about it? What do you mean, what about it? Those cameras have been installed all throughout Shibuya. They're taking in anything and everything, privacy be damned. A shocked pallor came to the man's face. Oh, really? He muttered uneasily to himself. Guess I should be careful next time I go picking stuff up. Hey, what are you talking about? Minorikawa asked. Oh, nothing, just stuff. Way to dodge the question entirely. Anyhow, I think there's some good things about the cameras too, the man said hurriedly. Oh? Minorikawa asked. Such as? Well, I mean, they must have helped catch some crooks, right? Yeah, I think you're right about that. Oh, I am. The man looked shocked to have his own statement confirmed. Are you hiding something from me? Huh? No, nothing in particular. The man shook his head vehemently. Nothing at all, really. Well, whatever, Minorikawa said. In any case, even if the cameras are helping in arresting criminals, every point is just whoosh. There are some places where people just don't want to be watched. What? For instance, how would you like it if somebody set up a security camera inside your home? What do you mean? I mean, a burglar might try to get into your home. If you had a security camera, you could be alerted right away. Isn't that kind of an extreme argument? No, you're the one making the extreme argument here. What? The man stared, bewildered. You're saying it's okay for folks to film people around town as much as they might like, but not to take a look inside people's houses? Yeah, I guess I am, the man mumbled. Minorikawa snorted. You don't think too deeply about things, do you? He mocked. You're interviewing the man. The man huffed in indignation. I don't see the problem, he said. I mean, it's a normal enough opinion. To want to bring down crime, but also protect privacy. Well, yeah, so? So if they're just going to set up cameras around town, I'm okay with that. Minorikawa grinned inwardly. You're being naive, he said. Way too naive. Naive about what? By now, the man was getting worked up. Once you start letting people watch you some of the time, you'll eventually let them do it more and more. That's how the world works. Again, 12 years ago, and he's not wrong. A simple change in camera angles is all it'll take to steal the last traces of your privacy away. That's kind of funny coming from you. Doesn't 4-Star General Gossip get all subtle scuttlebutt by invading the privacy of others? Since when are you people concerned with personal privacy? Meaning what exactly? Minorikawa asked. You know damn well what I mean. Have you no shame? Got nothing to be ashamed about, Minorikawa exclaimed. If some celebrity scandal breaks, I write it up in the form of a top-class, socially conscious expose. That's the Minorikawa seal of quality. The man rolled his eyes, please, as if anyone's ever heard of that. Your everyday freelance reporter would say something about how security firms have no right to use cameras to disrupt personal privacy. But not me, oh no. I'm the only guy who'd write a first-class piece on the subject. And do you want to know why? The man's only response was a doubtful look. Because privacy only exists for me to utterly... because privacy only exists for me to utterly demolish it. What? Minorikawa finished with a prideful grin. That's nothing but journalistic arrogance, the man railed. Oh yeah? Yeah, I'd rather have surveillance cameras any day. If the alternative is some weird gossip piece. This time, Minorikawa didn't have a handy retort. He is also the best, yeah. An awkward silence descended over the pair. Right, I see, Minorikawa muttered to himself as he busily scribbled in his notepad. The man was visibly taken aback. Thank you for your cooperation, Minorikawa said at last. You gave me some good stuff. He held up a hand to forestall an angry retort. I realize I probably got you a bit riled up. You'll have to forgive me. What? The man peered up at Minorikawa in disbelief. This is just my interview style. Sorry, I know it's a little unorthodox. Buddy, you're a weirdo. You know that? The man said. Yeah, I hear that a lot, Minorikawa laughed. So can I go now? Sure, I'll quote you as Passerby A in my article. Sure, whatever, the man muttered. He quickly sped off on his bicycle. Minorikawa now had some material for his surveillance camera piece. He wanted to organize what he'd managed to put together so far. He decided to head towards his next interview location, keeping an eye out for a cafe where he could stop to work on his copy. Looks like a lottery store. Ducky Duck? I don't know what Ducky Duck sells, but whatever. Public House Wagon Lit? Not a lot of other English. Oh, Miami Garden. Seems to be a game store. Yeah, I see game. That's about it. Use the map included in the project proposal to guide him. It was hard to read the words and make out the details, but it looked like the Nokane building was where the Burning Hammer demo was being held. Was just down Center Guy. There was no indication of which floor the event would be held on, however. That made him a little anxious, but he'd probably be able to find someone to point him in the right direction once he got to the building. He spotted a cafe up ahead. Is this the cafe where things go down? Coffee, please, he shouted as he strode inside. The time doesn't quite match up. We're only at like 12:20 now? Oh, not even 12:05. That took no time. But like, the argument happens almost an hour later. Maybe we're in here a while. He slumped down in an open chair. Hopefully he'd be able to hole up in here until 1 o'clock. Oh, okay. There you go. If he couldn't have it done by then, finishing the whole issue by the end of the day would be a tall order. He pulled a cigarette from his overcoat as he waited for his computer to boot up. Having a smoke was Minorikawa's little trigger for going into writing mode. The state of being in a mood to write some text. As Minorikawa goes about his job, he switches between writing mode, interview mode, food mode, and sleep mode. When busy, he'll sometimes go into writing mode and food mode at the same time. Sometimes even straying into sleep mode in the midst of food mode. When he's even busier, he'll eat and write mid-interview, while nodding off. This is known as ultimate mode. Hold on, actually, for that last line alone. He stuck the cigarette in his mouth and lit it up. No, that's not the lighter that they found in the room. With the first heavy draw of smoke, he felt his mind focus. The rough idea for his article came to his head nearly fully formed. All he needed to do now was to get it all written down. Finally, his laptop finished booting up. Took you long enough, pal, he muttered to the computer. His hands leapt to the keyboard like a predator pouncing on its prey. In a matter of moments, he had hit his stride. His fingers clicked away. This sounds like some straight-up Sonic the Hedgehog music. Like, just add some lyrics over it talking about going fast and friendship, and you'd have Sonic the Hedgehog music, right? It's not just me. One by one, lines of text filled up the screen. Well, I guess gotta type fast, so it kind of works. The waitress stepped up beside him. Excuse me, sir. But Minorikawa was in writing mode. He didn't even notice her, or hear her. Sir? Sir, I beg your pardon. Oh, it's gonna be the wife. And she's just gonna be mad that he's smoking. And then it's gonna escalate way big from there. Again, Minorikawa was deaf to the waitresses. Oh, they did say waitress, so maybe not. Attempt to get his attention. Sir, excuse me. The waitress smacked his table. Quiet, Minorikawa snapped. He slammed the table right back. "Don't interrupt me when I'm working. Not if you know what's good for you." The waitress didn't so much as flinch. She leaned in aggressively, getting right in Minorukawa's face. I already love that she takes none of his shit. He slammed the table back and snapped back at her. She's like, "You gots to leave." Ikumi Omiya, employee at Kolabo Cafe. While appearing cute and demure at first glance, she's quite strong-willed and frightening when angry. She works nights at a place called the Scolding Pub, where customers rent private rooms in which they are scolded at length by attractive girls. Tell me that doesn't exist. Tell me that doesn't exist. One middle-aged businessman once told her, "Your face looks simply marvelous when you're angry." Wasn't there straight up a Monty Python skit about like argument rooms? Like, wasn't that it's the same idea, just, I guess. But just that one picture conveys so much, like, "Sir, I hate to bother you, but I have to ask you to please refrain from smoking." Minorukawa blinked. "Huh? This is a non-smoking establishment, sir." "No smoking?" Minorukawa asked. The cigarette bobbed in his mouth as he spoke. The waitress pointed sharply to the sign on the wall. No smoking. The words "no smoking" were spelled out clear as day. Paid arguments, yeah. We ask that patrons please not smoke so that other customers can fully enjoy the aroma of their coffee. The waitress drew herself up in arrogant triumph. A woman sitting at the table next made a face as she turned to fan the smoke away with her hands. Customers all around the shop were glaring at him. "You guys don't know the first thing about the aroma of coffee. You're only a coffee shop," Minorukawa scoffed. "The scent of coffee only truly comes to life amidst the choking stench of tobacco smoke." The waitress's only response was to jab her finger again. He gets the finger whip too, but this time she didn't point at the sign. She pointed at the door. "Sir, if you're going to smoke, please take it outside." Ooh. Waitress, also great character. Sometime later, sitting inside the cafe Lautrec, Minorukawa lit up his third cigarette. At last, a safe refuge. It had taken him quite some time to find a place that allowed smoking after he got kicked out of the first cafe. In recent years, many cafes and restaurants have phased out the concept of the smoking section in favor of prohibiting smoking across the board. This makes a place like Lautrec especially important to smokers. There are large air vents in the ceiling to help keep the interior more agreeable for those who don't smoke. Man, I am so glad that, like, smoking sections are gone. Like, I hate the smell of cigarette smoke, and, like, saying, "Oh, they can smoke indoors, but just over there," sucked. Like, that was not cool. That's something I hadn't thought about in a while, but that used to be very common. It's clearly not anymore, which is nice. Now he was in a rush to make up for lost time. His fingers flew over the keyboard at lightning speed. The more he wrote, the harder he focused. At this rate, he'd have the story wrapped up in no time. "Today, you hear me?" A voice intruded suddenly on his awareness. One of the other customers was shouting. "You're breaking up with that fellow today." Makes me nauseous. Yeah. It doesn't make me nauseous, thankfully. I just strongly dislike the smell of smoke. What if it made you nauseous? Yeah, that's like going to a place to eat and then smelling smoke. It's like, no, not here then. That would really defeat the purpose of, like, going out to eat, yeah. "You're breaking up with that fellow today," when Horikawa's fingers drifted to a halt. Oh no! He looked around to see where the voice had come from. Oh no! An older man, red in the face, was shouting at the young woman who sat across from him. I'm loving that now the characters are starting to intersect a little bit more. I mean, obviously it's going to happen more and more as the game goes on, but, like, I'm still loving it. "Please, Dad," the woman pleaded. "Stop. You're making a scene." Ah, a father and a daughter, then. It was rare nowadays to see a father behave so imperiously toward his own daughter. Just how sheltered had he been trying to keep her? Norikawa couldn't see her face from where he was sitting, but his interest was piqued. Should he move to another seat where he could take a look? No, he needed to finish his article. We know she either is some celebrity or very much resembles some celebrity because of when the cosplay guy, Sasayama, which I only remembered because it's like Sasafune, looked at his phone. Yeah, I wonder how it'll interfere with his stuff too. I'm very curious about A. I'm gonna pick B because he is on a stupid strict time limit at this rate. So like, I feel like for his own story, B makes sense. But I'm curious about A. But I feel like B is he's gotta work. He is so late for deadlines. No, he reminded himself that he needed to focus his article. At some point, in a hypothetical, we finish this game, like, obviously not tonight, but like when we finish it, I might just do a stream night of me just finding bad ends so we can see all the like different things that happen, if there's interest in that. Besides, if this young lady looked anything like her father, he'd just as soon pass. Well, wow. Ow. When Norikawa went back to his typing, it took a few minutes to reestablish his writing groove, with the two still bickering across the room, but thankfully he soon regained his focus. Yeah, total oof there. What's that? His hands went still as a strange noise intruded on his reverie. Whatever it was close by. What in the world is that sound? Need to get the bottom of this or I'll never be able to concentrate? Never mind, need to focus on finishing this article. Gotta finish the article. I assume that leads us closer to the listening device where bad things happen. I kinda get the feeling this one's still gonna be like, I can't focus with it, but we're gonna try it anyway. Well, never mind. I need to focus on finishing this article. Norikawa tried to immerse himself in his writing again. Before long, he stopped worrying about the curious sound. Time passed. Eventually, the pace of his writing slowed down a bit, and Norikawa glanced at his watch. It was later than he'd thought. Pretty soon he was going to have to head over to get an interview from the diet drink people. He reached into his bag for the project proposal to double-check the demo location. Huh? The proposal is... it's gone. Crap, where the heck did it go? He checked all around the table, but he didn't see it anywhere. Maybe he left it at the other cafe, the non-smoking place? Well, he didn't have time to go back for it now. His phone rang. What now? Norikawa snapped as he answered it. A tiny squeak came through the receiver. It was followed by the sound of sniffling sobs. I'm sorry. I just... Chiaki? Was she done with her interviews, maybe? Yeah, it sounds like she definitely finished her interviews. It's no use. People won't stop to talk no matter how hard I try. Her voice broke up into further sobs. Oh, come on. This again? Really? I can't do it. Don't worry about paying me. Just please let me go home. Norikawa was already operating on a too tight schedule. He didn't have time to worry about Chiaki on top of it all. Look, just slow down and take a breath. Try and keep at it a little longer. He should have seen this coming when he first called her. Yes, he should have. Her shyness was practically pathological. But if he cut her loose now, all this frustration would be for nothing. But I can't do it, Chiaki whined again. Please, just forget you ever called me. She hung up before Norikawa could get another word in. He tried calling her back, but she didn't pick up. Damn it, Chiaki! Don't you dare bail on me! Leaving money for his coffee on the table, Norikawa jumped up and bolted from the cafe. I also really wanted to see how he ended up with a fight with Ai, but the plaza outside Shibuya Station was as crowded as ever. Norikawa looked around, but there was no sign of Chiaki. We still might have time for that, who knows. She bailed. Norikawa dropped to his knees in despair. That's not his knees, but it's okay. His last hope had up and left. There was no one else he could even ask. Damn it! Alright then, fine. I'll do it myself. He dragged himself back to his feet. Alright, listen up, he shouted at the passing crowd. I'm doing street interviews here, starting now. You guys, shut up and help me. I mean, don't shut up, but help me. That's one way to get interviews, I guess. Oh no, he wound up blowing way too much time just to get 2 pages worth of content, leaving himself unable to finish the other articles. In the end, the issue of 4-Star General Gossip never made it to the newsstands, and Heaven Publishing went down for the count. We done goofed, I guess. Okay. Wow. Without Chiaki, Minoru Kama just couldn't get the gossip finished in time. What made her run off, though? Chiaki shows up in Kano's story at 12:10. One of the decisions there is what ultimately put her over the edge. Go into Kano, then! We're moving around, bouncing between stories. What we do. Yeah, we need to take an interview, clearly. But, like... Yeah, we got her. Alright, Kano, you're up. I'm not trying to save you for last, but, you know, Kano had been watching Syndicate members hand off the attaché case for an hour and a half. He still had no idea where this relay might be headed. The man he was tailing now was about 10 meters away, close enough that Kano could close the distance and apprehend him at a moment's notice. But his orders remained the same: follow and observe. There's still something... There's definitely fishiness about. He watched as the case was handed off once more. By now, the shock of seeing it pass yet another accomplice had worn off. It's already been 90 minutes, huh? Still dressed like that, it was Sasayama. At some point, he'd crept up on Kano from behind. They don't seem like they're trying to get away at all, Kano said. They're just walking. What could they be up to? Sasayama shrugged. Yeah, it's weird. I wouldn't be shocked at all if by this point it didn't have the money in it. Kano recalled Dick Dictum number 89. I almost read about the Dick Diary. Somehow. What is it? Dick Dictum number 89. The more irrelevant something seems, the more relevant it's bound to be. If Tateno's wisdom held true, the Syndicate must have some reason for what it was doing. Were they just trying to throw the investigators off the scent? Probably. No, that couldn't be it. They were wandering in circles, staying right in the same area. They were just running up the clock. What if that's exactly what they were after? Buying time. Kano felt a sudden conviction that he was on the right track. If they needed more time to make sure they got their hands on the ransom payment... Wait, hold on. Could it be that the real case had already been switched out? The ransom money wasn't even in the case anymore. I feel like they'd had to have swapped it. B? Okay. That's a lot of money for somebody to just carry around, though. But I'll give it a shot. Yeah, that's... Either one, I don't know. I'm leaning A only because that's a lot of money for somebody to just be carrying around like this. But they could have been in a car or a vehicle. They could have swapped it. There's definitely a case to be made for either side. Yeah, so we'll try A. Could it be that the real case had already been switched out? Made a certain amount of sense. By handing the case off to one accomplice after another, they were leading the detectives to pay more attention to the individuals than the case itself. That could enable them to swap the case while all the focus was elsewhere. Kano shared his hunch with Sasayama. I see. I mean, it is a possibility. Yeah, we might be following the wrong case. There was palpable tension in the air now. Kano, Sasayama said, you gotta report into Kuze. Oh, on it. Kazu's hand flashed to his wireless. Kuze was dismissive. No, that's the case, I assure you. No offense, sir, but how can you be sure? Yeah, really. Kuze shot aside. Because that's my job. There's an ID tag in that case that allows us to keep tabs on it. Oh, then it might have been B then. There's no way those crooks could have whipped out a duplicate. ID tag? What ID tag? Wait, no, that's right. Kano had forgotten all about the detail in the wake of his all-nighter. Oh, right. Don't you all-right me. Clearly you weren't hired for your brains. Focus on what you're good at. Ooh. Oh. Kuze ended the call. Still, Kano couldn't shake his conviction that something was off. Also true, the man with the attaché case made his way back to Shibuya Station. The heck? Sasayama grumbled. He's right back where we started. Kano felt his frustration growing. It honestly looked like the Syndicate was just randomly lugging the case around town. Near Shibuya Station, a girl approached the suspect. Oh no. It's her! She was Japanese and entirely unlike any of the other criminal accomplices. She spoke to the man while showing him something on a notepad. He glanced at the pad, but did not slow down. Within moments, he had left her behind. Looked like she just passed him a message. Well, that's sure fishy, Sasayama muttered. What, the girl? Asked Kano. Yeah. Wanna go hit her up? Sasayama could only mean one thing, questioning her. Yeah, let's see what she knows. She can't be involved with this, can't? Yeah, because this will count as an interview, right? Let's see what she knows. Sasayama and Kano hurried over to the girl. Excuse me, miss, we'd like to ask you a few... Are you happy with your life? The young woman shouted. She thrust her notepad in Kano's face. Tell me this, are you happy with your life right now? Huh? Looking at the notepad, Kano saw the same question written there in big, bold letters. The girl's eyes widened in surprise, as if she hadn't expected the two men to actually stop and listen. Right now, sir, she continued more quietly, are you happy? I love the ring. The just giant plastic gem ring. It's amazing. Are you, happy? If so, if you could please take the survey about, about your life. Are you happy with it? The more she spoke, the more flustered she became. Sasayama stepped in. Hey, I need to know. Did you speak with that Western fellow just now? Huh? No, that isn't what I'm asking. Sir, are you happy with your life right now? Are you happy with your life right now? Kano got a sinking feeling in his stomach. This kid was looking for religious converts or something. You did speak with him, didn't you? Sasayama snapped. What did you tell him? The girl's rambling abruptly ceased. Her already ruddy face went even redder, and tears welled up in her eyes. Oh no. Don't make her cry. Poor kid, Kano thought. She's just out here trying to get people to listen to her survey questions. There's no way she's part of this kidnapping plot. Look, miss, he said. For the time being, it would be a good idea for you to leave the area. Afraid I'm not at liberty to explain. The girl's only response was to start sobbing outright. I can't do this anymore. I want to go home. Maybe we broke her. Kano and Sasayama exchanged awkward glances. I want to go home. I want to go home. Passerbys began shooting curious looks at the trio. Maybe passing her by is actually the better plan. Kano, you get back to work, Sasayama said. I'll escort this girl to the train station. He didn't quite manage to stifle the embarrassment in his voice. Right, Kano said. He hurried away, his eyes already searching for the suspect they'd been tailing. Yeah. I want to see this through as best we can, but that definitely seems the point to go back to fix the other storyline. But while we're on this timeline, I do want to try and get as far as we can on it. It didn't take long to find him. The man's black garb made him stand out in the crowd at the intersection. It occurred to Kano that all of the criminals who'd handled the attaché case had been wearing the same black clothing. That fact made the whole situation even weirder. Could they really be ignorant that they were being followed while they were all wearing the same eye-catching outfit? It was more like they were going out of their way to make sure the investigators spotted them. That still didn't provide any clues as to what they were after, though. The longer Kano kept tailing these guys, the less it all made sense. Was it really such a good idea to keep this up? Someone's life was in danger and they were just letting the kidnappers carry out their plan. Whatever it was. The very first page of the Dick Diary spelled things out loud and clear on that front. Dick Dictum. Number 1. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect. Ever. Well, you've long since lost sight of that. In the literal sense. Right now, the single most important thing was ensuring the hostage's safety. This was a situation where Toteno would have stuck to his guns for sure. Kano thought back to that day 3 years ago. A burglar had shut himself inside a financial office and doused the place in gasoline. Now, we'd heard about this before, but I guess we didn't actually flash back to it. Kano had just been on police box duty. Nobody is assigned to a detective post right after graduating from the police academy. Detective positions can be quite hard to come by. Candidates are selected from detective training only after accumulating enough experience working at the local police box, a very small type of neighborhood station manned by only a handful of officers. So not a TARDIS. and was ordered to the scene because his box was just down the street from the standoff. Several officers had surrounded the building, keeping close tabs on the situation. The suspect was shouting nonsense through the entrance of the first floor. Things were getting heated. A crowd of alarmed onlookers had started to form as well. "Step aside," a voice said, suddenly from amidst the throng. A middle-aged man in a rumpled business suit had approached Kano as he hovered nervously at the edge of the scene. "I'm sorry, sir," Kano said. "You have to stay back for your own safety." He attempted to usher the man back into the crowd. A no-nonsense look crossed the newcomer's face. He spoke in a low voice. "I'm Detective Tateno, from the Shibuya precinct. What's the situation?" "Oh, sir, I'm so sorry. Yes, of course," Kano stammered, then quickly explained. He hasn't taken anyone hostage, but there are still people in the upper floors of the building. Giving only a slight nod, Tateno marched straight up to the building. "Alright, see you around, Mint. Thanks for hopping by. Hopefully you're enjoying this. Rest up. See you next time." The plastic container of gasoline the suspect had used was on the ground out front. Tateno picked it up and dumped the remaining contents out over his head. Kano was at a loss for words. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. "I've covered myself in gasoline, too," Tateno called out from the entryway. The tension in the air ratcheted itself up several notches. "Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing?" Kano heard the burglar shouting from inside. "If you're gonna do it, Tateno called out. "We can die together." And he walked into the building. All Kano could do was watch things unfold through the plate glass window. Tateno was talking to the burglar, but Kano couldn't make out the words. The crook was clutching a lighter, his hand trembling. His expression was like that of a frightened child. Tateno slowly approached him and took firm hold of his shaking hand. The onlookers erupted into cheers and applause. There, Tateno handed the now docile suspect over to the detectives, then warily sat down against the planter up front. It was like something ripped straight out of a police drama. "That was amazing," Kano breathed. "You have to deal with guys like that as quickly as you can. You let a situation like that get a little out of hand, and you never know how things might go south on you." Tateno spoke quietly, almost as if he were talking to himself. As the police evacuated the rest of the building, Kano noticed that there were children and elderly people among them. If the perp had managed to set the fire, there was no way they would have escaped in time. But I mean, what if he'd actually set the place on fire? If someone's willing to risk their life, you're not going to convince them of anything unless you do the same. Kano still remembered the awe he felt at Tateno's matter-of-fact tone. Kano hadn't become a police officer out of any real sense of duty. He just thought it would make Rumi happy if he became a detective like her father. Besides, civil servants tended to stay afloat in times of recession, and his time playing rugby meant he was in good physical shape for the job. That's why he was in good physical shape. He played rugby. He mentioned that in his prior chapter, that he was in shape and well suited for the job. Rugby. That's what it was. Didn't see that one coming. He never really thought too much about protecting the citizenry or keeping the peace. But now here he was in the presence of a detective who'd literally risked his life in the line of duty without a second thought. A police officer never loses sight of what he's supposed to protect. I can English good. Ever. Getting back to his feet, Tateno tugged off his gasoline-drenched coat and walked away. "And this is the start of the Dick Diary." Kano wrote the words on a notebook he'd just purchased. Thus, the Dick Diary was born. There it is. The birth of the Dick Diary. Thinking back to the way Tateno had put his life on the line to rescue a bunch of strangers made Kano feel all the more raw about what just tailing these syndicate members. It's the origin story we all wanted, and we learned why he was in shape. Letting the crooks just wander around wasn't going to bring Maria Osawa to safety. Of that, Kano was now certain. "Shoot, it's bleeding pretty bad," he heard someone say behind him. Yes it is." "Yes it is." He turned and saw two young men carrying another along. There was a towel wrapped tightly around the third's head. "So those are the loan sharks, right?" That's either the father. Could it be? Oh, you're right. Wow, we messed him up then. I thought those were the loan sharks, but you're right, that's SOS. Damn, we messed him up. Hey, what happened? Kano asked. Shut your mouth. Kano blanched. Can the attitude. He's trying to help, another voice cut in. It was Sasayama. Had he finished dealing with the girl by the station then? What happened to your friend? Out of my way, man. I ain't afraid to kick your ass. Look, cut the crap and let me take a quick look. It's like Aki is a god. I mean, he's proving to kind of be. Sasayama unwrapped the towel from around the young man's head. Ooh. Ooh, that's nasty. The young guy was a little more than a kid. His head was soaked red with blood. He appeared to be unconscious. They couldn't just leave him like this, but they were in the middle of a job. They should probably call juvenile affairs. They were in the middle of a job, but they couldn't just leave him like this. They should probably take him to a hospital. Do we care enough about this guy? Do we try to help him? Because it's the right thing to do? Yeah, I feel like the right thing to do kind of wins out in this case. And he was already just about to be like, let's stop tailing that dude anyway. This gives a legitimate excuse for him to stop tailing the dude, and after this maybe go like, also true, we can't let Aki be a killer. A guy who knocks a fool out? Sure, we can't have him be a killer. They were in the middle of a job, but they couldn't just leave him like this. So yeah, B seems to check out well. They should probably take him to a hospital. Kano offered to help carry the bloodied young man, but Sasayama stepped in front of him. He quickly flashed the two youths his badge. Oh crap, you a cop? Sasayama nodded. Who you kids with? Bamps? I'm afraid to hit this one. Shibuya's number 2 gang. Its leader, Shohei Ikari, has gathered up some big mean dudes in an attempt to make Shibuya his turf. The gang's leadership is inferior to that of SOS, but on an individual level, its members tend to be stronger in a fight. Word is that the rise of the Bamps is one of the reasons SOS has been growing more competitive lately. We don't know, but we know. Like, we don't know, but we know. SOS? SOS, admitted one of the young men after some hesitation. Who attacked you? Yo, it ain't nothing like that. What was it like then? Infighting? That grin on Sasayama, though. The young man was silent. Sasayama must have been right on the mark. In the course of his police duties, Kano picked up a fair amount of street gossip from the young people in Shibuya. Lately, the scuttlebutt around the legendary SOS gang was that they were dealing with some internal strife. Look, don't worry about it. I get it. There's a hospital just down that way. Hurry up and get him there. The young man batted off Sasayama's offered hand, then quickly hauled his friend away. Sounds like SOS is on the verge of breaking up with all this infighting, huh? Kano asked. He kept his eyes on the young men as they headed off. Yeah, seems like it's been pretty rough. You know what? With the original leader leaving and all, the detectives in juvenile affairs were well acquainted with SOS's original leader. That would be Aki Endo. Initially, SOS was nothing more than a small group of like-minded young people who hung out together. But as its membership grew, the general public began referring to the group as a gang. Word has it that back when Aki was in charge, gang members never started any conflicts themselves, but simply responded in kind when others brought fights their way. Clearly not the case anymore. The stories were like something out of after-school specials. There were tales of them taking down gangs who sold drugs to kids, or breaking into Yakuza front offices to save their friends. The detectives with juvenile affairs took these stories with a grain of salt, but if there really were young people like that out there, Kano hoped to meet them someday. Maybe he already has, in passing. Maybe in another timeline, he interviewed him, and the interrogation went so bad, he quit his job. The detectives had to hurry to catch up with the man they were tailing. He was still strolling along, seemingly in no particular hurry. He still caught up with the guy after all this? No. They kept him in sight as he crossed another pedestrian over. So much has happened! Okay. Still following the same MO, huh? Sasayama grumbled. Guess so, Kano said. How'd things go with the girl? He was careful not to take his eyes off the mark as they talked. Like if Yakuza was going to be VN rather than what it is now, this would have been the result. Kinda, yeah. Yeah. I managed to calm her down and get her on a train. She was going on about how she wanted to go someplace far, far away. But whatever, it's all good now. It took me a stupid long time to get 3 strikes in a row in Yakuza. Because I needed 3 strikes in a row to get the manager, and also to get that building, and it's stupid how long that took me to do. And I didn't think I was bad at that bowling game. I won every round I ever went against the computer, which isn't super hard. But as soon as I just 3 strikes in a row, couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Finally did today, but that actually gave me trouble. I feel kind of bad about the whole thing, Kana said. I don't think there's a cheat item. I got the turkey, yes. I ended up looking up a video, and it's not a cheat item, but there's a way that makes it very likely to work. If you move all the way to the left, pick the lightest ball, and tap the button twice quick, it gives you a pretty decent chance of a strike. It's not a cheat, but I feel a little bad using it. I tried for an hour last night to do it legitimately, and I just... Hey, Khaleesi! Welcome to Viperland in the chat. How are you doing tonight? Thank you, obviously, for the raid. Let me get a shout-out. One of these days, you'll be going longer than I will, and I'll raid you, but you usually end just a little earlier. How did 14 go? You were 14ing tonight, I believe, right? But also, how you doing tonight? Welcome, welcome to the weirdness that is this game. No part of this game is going to make any sense at this point. It's okay. It's fine. But yeah, I did eventually get Nugget, which is great. Nugget, the chicken, who was supposed to be a turkey, who wasn't cooked and is now a manager. Weird game. I love Yakuza, but it's also a weird game. Well, she's not permitted to the case anyhow, or pertinent to the case anyhow. I'm doing pretty well. We're continuing our experiences through 428 Shibuya Shuffle, which is weird. Very entertainingly weird, but weird. But it's been a good time so far. We've actually got quite a bit done tonight, considering Wednesdays are our shorter stream too. Gets us back to dogging this guy. Sasayama nodded towards the suspect, looking none too pleased. That guy's got a briefcase full of money that's been passed off from a dozen guys after we paid off the ransom for kidnapping, and they just keep passing it off, and we're tailing them. So, Sasayama, I'm thinking the attaché case is going to get handed off again any moment now. Huh? Sasayama peered at the mark, who was scanning the plaza he just entered, apparently looking for someone. I take one side, you take the other, Kano suggested. Sasayama's eyes went wide. Say what now? That way we apprehend both perps involved with the handoff. Sasayama didn't reply. Look, HQ isn't thinking about the hostage's safety, Kano said. Oh, this is a slightly more serious looking bit. If you were here 10 minutes ago, totally different. Totally different. But that needs to take priority here. Oh, it's okay, I can't type half the time, so I get you. Sasayama's face took on a rare solemnity. Disobeying a direct order is not something to do lightly. A detective's behavior is governed by the Local Public Service Act. Article 32 states that a detective is to faithfully follow the orders of his superior in the course of his duties. Violating this is punishable by a warning, reduction in pay, suspension from duty, or dismissal. In the event of a warning, not only is the individual expected to submit a formal letter of apology, but pay raises may be delayed or performance bonuses cut. Banana. Yes, banana. Then, after a moment, he added, but I'm on board. I'm sick of all this wandering around anyway. That's the Sasayama I know, Kano replied with a chuckle. Sasayama gave him a silent thumbs up. We're gonna apprehend the dude, do the thing. We also did not help Chiaki, though, at all. We kind of botched that. The two detectives took up positions on opposite sides of the plaza. Kano called up Sasayama on his cell phone. You ready? He asked. Just give the word. There were only 2 non-Japanese people in the nearby crowd. Both were eyeing their surroundings anxiously. Were they both wearing nothing but jet black? Kano was certain the handoff was about to take place. And then... Well. If it isn't Mr. Toyama. Kano's ears perked up at the sound of an aggressive greeting, the voice dripping with feigned cheer. Ah, it's him again? Why is he everywhere? He whirled around to see two rough-looking, oh no, young men confronting a father and his daughter. The older man looked pained. "Please, just hold on," he said placatingly. "I thought we agreed on 4 o'clock." They did. "There's the debt collectors and Mr. Suicide Man. Mr. I'm gonna kill myself and let my daughter find me, man." The young man snarled. "Don't you try and play dumb with us, buddy. It's nothing like that, I swear. My girl was just hungry, so I stepped out to..." "Yeah? How come you didn't just order delivery, huh?" "Ah, yeah, right. I suppose that would work too. Don't you, me, man?" Kano watched the argument uneasily. The stranger's altercation put him in a bit of a spot. The cookie he was tailing probably wouldn't risk handing off the case with an uproar like this going on. "What's going on over there?" Sasayama asked. "I'm not sure," Kano replied. "Looks like some kind of argument. The suspects are going to get wary on us. It's going to screw up the whole handoff." "Yeah, I know. So do something about it and get over here," Sasayama said. So yeah, we're playing as this guy right now, but this game has 5 distinctly different characters, all playing at about the same time, or actually the same time, with different paths for different characters interfering with each other, and it's really cool and really fun. And the character in yellow is literally a girl stuck in a mascot costume. Yep. We're on the... This guy's a doctor with this guy tailing him in the picture. Like, it's a weird game, but it's a really fun weird game. What? Find some way to shut them up, and then get over here. Oh, sure, alright. Kano headed toward the argument. He was only halfway there when Sasayama called again. He sounded panicked. "Hey, Kano!" He made a run for it. Huh? Oh crap! The man they'd been tailing had vanished in the brief time Kano had taken his eyes off him. "Wait up!" Kano shouted. Sasayama was racing after the suspect, and Kano rushed to join him. The man was surprisingly quick, however, and neither detective managed to catch up. Excuse me. In fact, they soon lost sight of him amidst the teeming crowds. Frantically, they dashed through the streets as fast and as hard as they could. Probably, yeah. "We lost him," Sasayama admitted at last. "Damn it." Maybe? We didn't really have the option, though, did we? Hold on. I'm pretty sure they didn't give us the option. Yeah, the only choice we had was in there. That was before he even went outside. True, maybe if we left angry. You're right. I'm still going to continue where we're going for now, but that is a possibility. Damn it! He stamped his foot on the asphalt in disgust. "Director Kuze," Kano gasped over the wireless. "I'm sorry, but we lost the man with the attaché case." There was a heavy sigh on the other end of the line. Kano braced himself. He wasn't going to be able to weasel out of this one with just a "I'll do better next time." "Sasayama, Kano, get your asses back to precinct." Kuze out. With that, Kuze switched off the line. Doesn't he have other people? These aren't the only 2 detectives out there. They said there were like 50. Back to the precinct. Kano knew full well what that meant. They were off the case. There was a gnawing in his gut. If those 2 punks hadn't shown up, no. If that father and his daughter hadn't turned up, he might have been able to apprehend the suspect. And now we start bouncing around a bit. "Aw, don't let it get you down," Sasayama said. "I mean, paper pushing can be kind of fun." The look on his face, however, suggested he didn't think it was fun at all, not one bit. With the air of 2 men heading to an execution, Kano and Sasayama trotted back towards the Shibuya precinct. Oh, that's a bad end right there. Angry, he would have left faster, admit the suicide dad first instead? Maybe. We'll try that. Kano was taken off the case because he lost track of the suspect, thanks to a random altercation nearby. If they haven't shown up, a certain someone needs to give those 2 some better advice, and a certain other someone needs to meet up with them outside his or her house. Damn. I know they're meeting outside the house, but they're giving them advice. Who else met up with them? What I'm going to do for the short term, we're going to go back to the earlier thing. Which one was it? That one? Yeah. We're going to try to get her to not break so that we can go back to the reporter. Because that's something we know we can do at this rate. Like, that's something we can pretty definitively do. It's weird that not talking to her seems to be the right answer to get her to not quit. She can't be involved in this, can she? Sasayama flashed him a skeptical look. Don't let your preconceptions get the better of you. Fixed notions one has about something before the facts are known can be a hindrance to thinking freely. If you think about it too hard, you might fall victim to the preconception that preconceptions themselves are always bad. Could get you killed. I know that, but still, she doesn't come across as involved to me. Kano knew better than to judge people based on appearance, but he was still convinced the girl wasn't part of this gang. She just struck him as far too, well, inept, really. Alright, I'll go look into the girl, Sasayama said. You keep following the attaché case. Kano nodded and hurried after the man. So we don't know what happens there. Oh, that also means Sasayama's not with us for the rest of this. The man's black garb made him stand out. Yeah, we knew that. All criminals had wearing the same. Oh, because he was already bringing him back to the... We did split up. He brought her to the station. So I feel like from there... I'm gonna go for a few more and see if it changes. Yeah, then we go to the Dick Diary. We flash back. Okay. Yeah, flashback there. So I'm assuming it's going to play out the same from that point. Let's see if that does fix Norikawa's here. Let's see if it fixes it. It might not. We'll see. Time passed. Writing slow down. Let's see if he gets the call. Yeah, the project proposal wasn't there. Yep. If he gets a call, we might be in trouble. Unless the call plays out different. Gonna head to bed. Have a great night of stream. Yep, no worries. We're only going for another, like, 15 minutes anyway, but thank you for the raid. Glad you had a great stream as well. Get some rest. See you next time. What now? Same thing. Yep. It's the same stuff. I don't know if we fixed anything. I'm gonna see if it gives us like a choice or something, but we won't stop to talk no matter how hard I try. Do you know what we didn't try? Oh, he hung up this time. Hold on, that was different. So these people won't stop to talk no matter how hard I try. I've got my own problems to deal with. You're just gonna have to find some way to manage. He hung up this time, so it's at least different. I don't know if it's better. It's different. He had to hurry. Yeah, now he's focused on his problem. She still might have quit, but like he's not gonna despair in the middle of the street and give up. Even though he probably could. Had to get to the demo venue. But he lost the map and forgotten the location. Think, man, he told himself. Where would they hold an event like this? Probably someplace big, right? There ought to be a guide to someone out front, too. With these assumptions in mind, Minorikawa broke into a run, searching ahead as he went. He stopped when he caught sight of a peculiar, multi-tenant office building. A whole stream of women were filling inside. Filing. All of them looked a little heavy, too. Pay dirt. This had to be the health food company's sales demo. He hurried into the building. Oop. The women were queued up down the hallway. This was definitely the place then. More confident by the moment, Minorikawa made his way up the stairs. So we all know it's clearly going to end up being wrong. How wrong is he going to be? Finally, he reached the front of the line. Oh, maybe not. There was a notice posted outside the doorway. Minorikawa read it out loud. Auditions for the starring role in Sun TV's Sumo Queen 2. A suspense drama about a string of murders that crop up while a group of female sumo wrestlers tour the country. The Magashiro, Komusubi, Sekiwake, and Ozakai, the 5th through 2nd place wrestlers from both East and West, are all killed in sequence, leaving only the 2 top-ranked Yokozuna, with the real killer still unknown. Things come to a heated climax in the ring during the final match, when the loser tearfully confessed to her crimes. It concludes with the victorious wrestler, who had also been playing the part of the detective, sorrowfully looking the culprit in the eye and stating, "It's off to the big house with you." Okay. It was a sequel series to a recent TV drama featuring full-figured actresses. That's it, Minorukawa exclaimed, a new project proposal springing fully formed into his mind. He felt as if he had been struck by a bolt of divine inspiration. Big bodies, bigger names. A new arena opens for aspiring plus-size actresses. Never mind the diet drink demo. This was going to be Minorukawa's big story. So this is another bad end, right? Minorukawa managed to meet the deadline. The show, however, wound up being a massive flop. Sales of that issue of 4-Star General Gossip were likewise lackluster, with an unprecedented number of copies going unsold. Wow, he actually made the deadline, though. Honestly, oh crap, it ends the same way. I'm honestly impressed that he made the deadline. Mr. Toyama's debts continued to spiral out of control. And before long, Heaven Publishing was no more. Okay. So there's gotta be another way. Maybe? That might be the case. We might have to... Sumo showed his massive belly flop. Minorukawa wound up going to the wrong venue entirely. His main problem was that he didn't have good detailed directions to the Burning Hammer demo. Tama can do something at 12:15 that causes Chiri to head to that cafe, and Chiri can help Minorukawa get to where he needs to go. Back to Tama we go. I think splitting up was clearly what we gotta do with Tama. Let's go do that. I wouldn't have thought either, and to be fair, I don't have to check those hints, but I don't want this game to take forever. I'm down with taking the hints. I got no issue with that. Yeah. So it's literally the first decision we made upon starting this evening's stream was the choice that decided whether that was going to go down or not. We shall split up. Chiri and I go our separate ways, searching for a truck full of junk. So I assume her chapter doesn't play out much differently, but I'm going to at least go for while it's different. I make my way to Center Guy. We bump into him. I'm so focused on searching all over that I walk that I lose track of where I am going, and I wind up bumping right into a man who's hurrying along with his daughter. Taro and Hana. Oh, we didn't see their name last time. They came to Center Guy to eat lunch. Before that, they were at Heaven Publishing in Shibuya, 1 Chrome. While wandering around distractedly looking for somewhere cheap and tasty, Mr. Toyama bumped right into Tama. We need to talk to him better, yes. Oh, pardon me. I hop back to my feet and go to bow to the man in apology. Ow! He bows at the same time, and we manage to bonk our heads together. Sorry. As her dad drops to his knees, clutching his... This seems like it's going the exact same way, though. The girl begins to wander off. Yeah, if we get the option for sure. No, that's how it played out the exact same way. Hey, Hannah, wait! The man lurches to his feet and rushes after the girl. She seems like an odd kid. Well, yeah, it's the exact same way it played out. Also, probably not much. It would probably be more of a shock than an actual pain. But there's nothing we can change there, it seems. Nursing my own sore head, I make it all the way to Shibuya Station, but there's no sign of the truck. I'll probably never find it just by wandering around randomly. It's already 12:35. The sales demo starts 25 minutes. I have serious doubts I'll be able to find the truck by then. Follow for that one? Maybe, yeah. It might be the leaving angrily and just snapping at him and making him like turn a different way or something like that. Seems to check out. Ah, what should I do? And by here, Chiri had vanished anyway. Oh. Okay. There's our keep out, I guess. We still haven't found the way back to it, have we? That's where we were either way, right? So that should change back here. Right? Why is it... It won't let me go further down. It's starting me over here. It won't let me go further. Should we try the other path here, or should we stick to what we had picked last time? Oh, dang it, I didn't mean to hit that one. Well, we're trying it then. I was just trying to go through the text. I really think the correct answer is still sticking to our guns and doing the paper, but at this rate, we hit the button, so... I should probably grab a new controller at some point. My X button is double tapping sometimes when I'm meaning to just tap, which isn't the worst, but it makes for things like that happening occasionally. But I feel like I shouldn't get a new PlayStation controller with PS5 coming around, and I have a second controller, I should just charge it up. Norikawa couldn't see her face from where he was sitting, but his interest was piqued. Oh, okay, I didn't hit it, never mind. We should stick to B then, right? We should stick to B? I thought I'd hit it. I feel like, at least in terms of science, mitigating variables is the better plan in terms of finding a way forward. Need to finish the article, looked anything like her father just seems to pass, yeah. Okay. Took a few minutes to reestablish, we got that. They're still arguing. It's weird that they put me back there. Maybe something changed, like, here. You heard the beeping. What's that? Strange beeping sound. Gone to a young woman at another table. Then one of those... Oh, this is new. Then one of those, one of these, and one of these. Oh, we know who that's going to be. Oh, and this, and this, and this, and that too. She finished with a broad grin. Nope, it's not. It's her. Let me just repeat your order back to you. Wow, good. She's doing a great job looking for the truck, isn't she? This is why they changed it. Let me just repeat your order back to you. 1 Japanese-style beef patty, 1 spicy fish roe spaghetti. That sounds... Spicy fish roe spaghetti. Now, mind you, I don't like fish anyway, so, like, the fish roe bit is already bad, but... Spicy fish roe spaghetti. 1 chicken casserole, 1 French onion soup, 1 fruit parfait, 1 chocolate parfait, and 1 deluxe chocolate parfait. I like her taste in parfaits. Will that be all? The waitress anxiously awaited confirmation. Roko Kakinuma, a second-year student at Midoriyama Academy's law school. She was hassled by a pair of hustlers on her way to work and showed up 5 minutes late for her shift. The manager told her that those 5 minutes were coming out of her pay, so she's a bit irritated right now. Rightfully so. You forgot the large caramel shake. The customer was a full-figured young woman ensconced in a nearby table. Oh, my apologies. The waitress quickly jotted down the addition to the order. Fish eggs are weird, I can imagine. Never tried them, can't imagine I'd like them. Not liking fish, I can't imagine their raw eggs would be like, that's actually what I love. Also, isn't it expensive anyway, so even if I was gonna like it, no thanks. The waitress quickly jotted down the addition to the order. That'll do for now, the young woman said. For now? Yikes. She's actually planning on ordering more after that? She also just... What time is it? It's 12:20. She was eating an entire lunch at noon. Previous time blocks are shown above. Protagonist actions can only affect other protagonists within the same time block. Oh, okay, hand. So, if I go back, I can try to get bad ends without screwing up the fact that we made the right choice now. Okay. Yourself, make sure to check decisions, and it also means you'll never have to go back to a previous one. Okay. But yeah, like, damn. Marveling at this display of appetite, Minorikawa went back to typing. Yep. Now what? He heard the strange beeping sound again, subtly different than the first time. This time it was closer. Seriously, what the heck is that? It doesn't count either of these as being seen before. I'm still going to go finishing the article, but it doesn't count that as one we've picked before, because this is a different branch, I guess. So... Well, never mind. I need to focus on finishing this article. Minorikawa immersed himself in his writing again. Before long, he stopped worrying about the curious sound. Also, I'm assuming that sound is I. It may or may not be. So it's possible that by picking this path, we can go back to Osawa, and maybe do it. The plump young woman set about devouring all the food she'd ordered, despite the strange look she was getting. I mean, hey, I've ordered a stupid amount of food at restaurants before, and loved every minute of it, so live your best life. Eat your stuff. It looks like 2 caramel shakes, though. But also, damn, that's a lot of empty plates. Now that was an appetite to be reckoned with. It took her under 3... What? That's impossible. That's physically impossible. Statistically impossible. You can't do that. 3 minutes to polish off everything. It would take more than 3 minutes for them to bring it all out to you and put it down one by one. Then, looking not the least bit sated, she picked the menu right back up. Was she seriously going to order more? Minorikawa was starting to take an interest in this young lady. There might be a story here. He conjured up a series of headlines in his mind. Woman inhales 30,000 calories in 3 minutes. This is the equivalent of 100 pieces of shortcake, 300 glasses of milk, or enough steak and rice to feed about 30 people. Yes, she might be curvy. No, he needed something with more punch. Food for thought, an expose on obesity. No, that was no good. He wasn't waiting for a fashion mag here. Gourmet day in Shibuya. That was it. He'd be able to whip something up if he went with the foodie angle. Minorikawa got up from his seat. That's pretty impressive, he said to the hungry diner. Do you always eat that much? The young woman glared back at him. As she should, yeah. Not always, she said. Suddenly, tension filled the air. Oops, was this way too blunt of me? Yes. I mean, she is a young lady after all. Maybe I should change up my approach. Who the heck are you anyway? The woman asked. I'm a freelancer writer. I was hoping I could do an interview with you real quick. You want to interview me? The suspicion was plain on her face. I do. I mean, girls all over the world worry about their diets, right? I hear that, yeah. So would you be willing to share your secret or your technique or whatever for how to eat without getting fat? What, me? Sure, I mean, look at the figure you're maintaining despite eating all this food. The young woman's expression brightened up. That change. Oh, you noticed. There's actually a lot that goes into all this. Yeah? The basic thing, though, is to eat 10 meals a day. She's a hobbit. Got it. That face is great. Minorikawa struggled to keep his jaw from dropping. 10 meals a day? She flashed him a chubby-cheeked grin. Ah. Heh, you don't know how diets work, do ya? She chuckled. Eating only 1 or 2 meals a day, that's what'll make you fat. Gotta space your food out into smaller portions throughout the day. That's the fundamentals of dieting right there. Yeah, and she did too. Gotcha, fam. Yeah, she did. Right. Well, what happened to the smaller portions part? Minorikawa had to bite his tongue. Ah, I see, he said. Any other pro dieting tips you could share? So we've passed 2 o'clock, but I'm just going to see this to whatever conclusion it's got for him. Whether I hit a keep out or whatever dead end we hit, that'll be where we end it, but I just want to hit whatever, because we're already late in the day for him, we're going to hit something. Well, for the basics, I'd say always drink protein instead of tea, yeah? Drink protein? All day? Seriously? Once again, it took all of Minorikawa's willpower to keep his thoughts to himself. Let's see, what else? Oh, there's a stuff called Burning Hammer, too, but she trailed off with a little wince. Wait, Minorikawa perked up. Did you say Burning Hammer? Oh, you know it. I've heard of it anyway, Minorikawa replied. He decided he was better off keeping his plans to head to the sales demo secret. There's a sales demo later on, if you're interested, the woman said, as if she were reading his thoughts. Though, full disclosure, I am working for them right now. She handed Minorikawa an advertising pamphlet. There was a more detailed map for the venue included. Look at that. What a stroke of luck! Now he didn't need to rely on the crummy map and the project proposal anymore. He'd have no trouble finding the venue with the building's various floors all broken down for him. And actually, I gotta get back to work, the woman said. Sure, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to hang back and finish up my copy here. The woman left the cafe, and Minorikawa went back to his laptop. Super helpful, actually. Also, if we had a choice, I'll stop there too. He'd gotten some new info on the Burning Hammer sales demo, but he'd also lost some more time. The surveillance camera piece still wasn't finished. It was going to be a near thing to get it done before the sales demo started. Yet, instead of returning to his writing, he got out his cell phone. What if Toyama had gotten another of his crazy ideas? If he tried to hang himself again, the thought had Minorikawa too worried to work on his copy. Or if he went out for food. The phone rang several times before someone picked up. Mr. Toyama, where are you right now? Minorikawa asked. Right now? I'm on the run, somewhere near Shoto. An upscale residential district. Despite being smack dab in the middle of the city, it's a quiet neighborhood, rife with greenery. The residence of the former governor of Tokyo is here, built on a massive 2,200 square meter plot of land. There's a shady hotel district a short walk to the south, making for quite the juxtaposition. Toyama was speaking in an oddly hushed tone. Shoto? After you left the office, some guys came by to collect on my debts, so I made a run for it. Okay, so he wasn't dead, but the situation was still pretty bad. Look, we'll get you through this somehow, Minorikawa said, hoping it was true. Okay, so this is where we'll leave off for now. Just keep your head down and stay out of trouble, or you need to get back to the office ASAP. That's where we'll pick up next time. I'm liking this. You guys seem to be liking this. I see no reason not to play more of it. I'm thinking Sunday. Sunday seems a good one. Did the bot get double started? Apparently. I don't know how. Cool. Thanks, bot. So yeah, because tomorrow we're doing some sweet Neo goodness. Friday we're going to do some Etrian Odyssey. Saturday we're doing Skullgirls. If we get tired of Skullgirls, we'd probably swap to either Fighter Z or Grand Blue, but it'll be at least starting Skullgirls, probably keeping going with it. That seems like a game a lot of us have and have fun with. So Sunday we'll pick up more of this, because that's the next open slot. Seems good. I'm also super invested in this. Like, I'm having a great time. I really am. So, you know, hell yeah. Obviously, big shoutouts to Khaleesi for that sweet heckin' raid earlier. And, you know, everybody being here. Help me out, keep me company, having a good time with this. Oh man, Neo is going to be a fun time tomorrow. I don't have any direct plans for what we're doing in Neo. I don't know. But we'll do some Neo goodness for sure. We've got some definite options. We've got salty runbacks, we've got new content, the redoing missions on the higher difficulty. If Grim allows us, maybe with clothes on this time. So yeah, let's see who might be going tonight in terms of a raid. I feel like we haven't raided the past few nights, and I really should, if anybody's around. Knight's playing Code Vein, and I want to raid Knight, but like, I know they're further than I am now. You know what? We're gonna raid Chuck. They're playing No Man's Sky, and you know what? I love No Man's Sky. And we also don't get to raid Chuck too often either. They're usually doing earlier lately, so. That should be an underscore. There we go, get the raid. We got ourselves a monster, a quote, a Discord, and I don't know what a good sound effect for this is. Excuse me. But you know what? That's what we're going with. Is it appropriate? No. That's what we're going with. Don't care. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching. This has been Vipers of Viperland. Oh, let's get ourselves a raid message. I almost forgot that one there. And I will see you all next time.